There was a weird delay with that one, so yeah, I'm sharing this thing with Al because Jamie gave this to me, and I think, how do you like it?
I like it.
Yeah, this is Tequila Rose, strawberry cream, and it's strawberry cream liqueur with a splash of tequila, and I'm a fan.
It's a very feminine drink, but fuck it, it's delicious. It smells feminine. It has like a perfumey type smell.
I know you're gonna finish it. Fuck it, I don't care. I swear it's Mr. Boston. So.
I can't get hammered because I haven't eaten anything for the day yet. I got out of work and
that's rare. Shit. You haven't eaten all day? What the fuck?
I had several things to do before I even made it home. I got home a little while ago and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna shave, throw a shirt on, and get out. Come up here. And
what do you got, Elliot?
I got rum and whiskey.
Damn. I'm trying to.
That is a legendary mix right there.
You got rum, Diet Cherry Pepsi too.
Yeah. Well, I don't just down them anymore. That's how I get into fist fights.
Jesus. What are you slurping on there, Grumpy?
Fuck off. All men suck.
All men suck.
We had a great hour-long conversation. That kind of hurts me.
So I'm just going to be honest with you. Your anger is turning me on.
Al, I'm just going to be honest with you. Fuck off. Bud Light Lime and Bahama Mama.
Yeah.
Bahama Mama.
No, I heard you talking to Elliot. It's not that it was funny the last time we recorded, but that entire hour was so unintelligible. The words coming out of me and Jennifer's mouth, you couldn't understand it. Where it's like, so I had to cut it out because it's like we got so fucked up where I couldn't understand what she was saying anymore.
You should have put it all in there.
That shit was ridiculous. I thought we were gonna get into a fist fight, like the first fight, and it only took how many episodes?
Yeah. Well, it was mostly me and Jen going because we had this big debate about slang, and I just said, Al, that I felt that a lot of people who speak only slang and they're very uneducated, and a lot
now,
of.
Be honest, it wasn't. You were saying you were like, fuck it, Jen, I don't care. Slang isn't a real language.
Yeah, it's
fuck
not.
It all. Fuck this.
It got
fuck that.
bad.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fucking slang. Fuck this.
Jen was coming back. And Jen was coming.
Idiots.
And at one point, I think at one point I said social media shouldn't, and I agree with that being sober now, that social media shouldn't be raising our children, which, a lot of it is. But.
Oh, yeah.
All we can do is raise our kids and nieces and nephews the best we can.
Well, I did this, Al, the other day, talking to this guy about different dialects, and this guy said about England versus America. I was like, well, we don't speak English anymore. He said, what do you mean? I was like, we speak American. I was like, call it what it is, dude. If you go to other countries, our English, they laugh at us. Because a lot of us, we are so, for the most part, a lot of inner cities and just on the internet, we're so slanged out that whenever you speak proper English, people stare at you like you're an idiot. And it's like,
even our proper English in comparison to their proper English are two completely different things.
It depends on the word.
Well, here's the thing, though. Slang exists everywhere. There's nowhere that don't have their own slangs. The truth is, it's a sad truth, but the reality is, if you hear somebody speaking slangs or in any type of weird fucking vernacular, it automatically makes you feel like they're not educated. It does. Yeah. No matter how smart they are, how much fucking shit they've accomplished. If you hear them speak and they sound fucking, every other word is slang. It does give you that feeling.
But that's the thing, though, too. It's not only just in the English language that there is slang. In every language in the world, there is slang.
Which I think other languages don't have the amount of slang we do. Like,
oh, they do.
They do.
Trust me, I went to England for a couple of weeks, and my mind melted with how much. It's not called slang, it's called dialect from just the different towns that are maybe 50 miles away. Completely different accents.
It's the same thing here. I mean, from fucking, literally, within the same state, you could literally move from one city to another city. It's like going from New York City to Boston. That's two completely different accents. That's only a couple miles away. That's
also my point, too. It's like I was telling Elliot before the podcast that if you say bar in New York and you say ba over in Boston, it's still the same thing. They may pronounce it differently, but you still know what a bar is or a car. And it's my problem. But
they do have different ways in which they communicate.
Okay.
For example, you could say, "Oh, that's freaking awesome." They're gonna say, "That's wicked awesome." Or you could say, "I'm gonna make a U-turn." They're gonna say, "I'm gonna bang a Yui."
Yeah.
Or go to a tavern or a pub instead of a bar. It's the same thing, just different term.
Or you could say, hey, that roundabout's coming up. They're going to be like, that rotary's coming up.
One point is, if you say in New York, my mother, and say it any other state in this country, you say mother, but have an accent with it, you still recognize, even though your accent is different, mother still means mother.
Yeah.
That's my point. That firstly, I was saying, it's like we talked about this before Al got here. It's like when you hear about the Forrest Gump. If someone talks like Forrest Gump, the first thing you think is, what's wrong with this person? Why are they talking like that for? You know, because or it could be a redneck or hillbilly. Rednecks and hillbillies talk a certain way, very stupid.
I'm not a smart
man.
I
would call it stupid.
But I know know what love is.
It's their way of communicating when most of them can't get to a school. It works for them. We might find it ridiculous, but it works for them.
It's Chris is right. When you hear a hillbilly like accent, it automatically makes you feel like the person, and it's unfair to them because sounding that way doesn't mean sounding a certain way doesn't mean you're dumb. But like I was saying earlier, it just comes down to you hear somebody like Cardi B speak, and she sounds like a fucking idiot.
She's a dumbass.
But she's not. She's actually very smart. Like if you ever follow any of her fucking her social media shit, some of the conversations she's have is very like on point. The chick isn't stupid. It's just that people judge her because of her accent. They judge her because she speaks with that New York City dialect, and that's something that everybody does. The minute you hear somebody speak, like if they're speaking with a lot of slang and a lot of drawls, they just sound stupid. It's not fair to judge them that way, but we do it all the time. Yeah, we all do it.
Because the point we had too, like all four of us right here, if you go into any business setting, if you go to work and you talk you talk a certain way when you're wearing a business suit. Yeah, it's like you wouldn't talk like a hillbilly or somebody from the ghetto in New York City or like wherever. It's like you wouldn't talk like a trailer park person because no one would ever take you seriously. The point I was trying to make when I was way fucked up, Al, is that like when I was in prison, like I read just so many books beyond belief, and not even just books, magazines, and my reading level went up a lot just because nothing better to do. A lot of people had what they call the quote-unquote hood books. I picked up one time a hood book. I read the first page, and I'm like, oh my God, like how did anybody publish this? Like if you were to take this to any grade school teacher and a kid wrote this, they will give you a massive F because none of these words make any sense. But you had so many guys in there who couldn't read on a first or second grade level. They would read hood books because they were they were dumbed down.
they talk the way they read. They read the way they speak. So you gotta.
But to be fair, that's not how you brought it out. It was lots of curse words and
that's
stupid, that's idiots, retards. So, like,
Chris basically took a Street Fighter stance. Round one.
I understand what you meant, but you came out like highly aggressive about it.
Well, because Junior was like Al. He was coming at me civilly. So wasn't you and Susan, but Jennifer because Jen Jen
was just as drunk as you
were. But the more Jen drinks, so Jen gets really aggressive, and now I'm matching her aggressive with my own aggressiveness. So because like you've seen it,
it was like Godzilla. Let them fight.
You've all seen me drunk. When I'm drunk, I'm stupid and funny.
It was like watching King Kong versus Godzilla.
I'm not aggressive though. It's Jen. Every time her and mom drink, oh fuck, like. So that's my point. I couldn't elaborate the way I can now. Is my point.
Yeah, that's why it came out to be just highly aggressive.
But at one point,
it should have been kept though on the last podcast.
But Jennifer and me though. But at one point, we weren't speaking words anymore. It was some sort of dialect that wasn't human.
It was like banshee shrieking.
You should have posted that episode in its entirety so I can listen to it.
Jen says she has some kind of college education. I'm like, Jen, you're an unemployed bartender. Okay, take 8 years of college and shove it up your ass, okay?
That would have been interesting.
All her degrees.
That's what Carlton would have said if he was here.
Cold-blooded. And you can't take that away from her.
I can't take it. What is she doing with it? And in fact, I have a GED and I make more money than her, so there's that.
Unfortunately, it might be opportunity of where you live compared to where she lives. There's a lot of factors, unfortunately.
Well, it's also...
You say that, you bring up...
Keep in mind, though, too, Jen has big boobs and a pretty face, so Jen...
and look who she's living with.
Jen, if you ever need help,
you do realize as we were leaving Jamie's house, instead of hugging him, I just slapped him, right?
Oh, God, so fun.
Remember Jen, a live-in boyfriend.
I mean, I hugged Jamie, I hugged Jen, I hugged...
I
hugged Brian like 3 times.
We've all had...
I slapped him.
I got a hug last week, too.
Yeah. She hated Elliot that little, but... We've all had different partners, but, like, I've never had a girlfriend call me Baby Huey. So, like, she calls her boyfriend... She has to nurture and nurse her boyfriend. I'm like, oh, boy. Like,
hey.
She treats him like a plant.
She should play some metal.
He's an adamant object.
She should play some metal, help him grow.
Oh, man. So, but yeah. But no, it was just that. But to me, overall, actually, technically speaking, I did read this up a while back, that slang in itself, the actual definition and creation of slang was, in fact, made by criminals. Because the thing is, when they were doing a lot of drug deals or criminal activities back in the day, they wanted to create a dialect that the cops wouldn't understand. That's what I did for. Exactly. But I think, like anything, but for the most part, it has over time then morphed into, like, you know, this whole other thing where it's like, yeah, at some point everybody does speak some form of slang and different dialogues, but like for the most part, I think that I try to like speak with some kind of proper grammar because, and which is the point I was trying to make when I was fucked up, is that this is why when you go to school, the difference between a kid who gets a 60 in English class and a kid who gets 100 in English class too. There is a proper term for everything we do. And it just, whether it's dialect or just said, I had this guy in prison called Ray, and this guy Ray people would start walking away from him because he would spend an hour, like we would recognize that this is like this is a crystal glass, and Ray would say, where I come from, this is a couch, and it'd be like, this is a crystal glass, and he goes, well, where I come from, we call that a couch, and I'm like, well, where you come from, you're a moron, okay? Like, we both know what a couch is, dude, okay? This is not a couch, but yeah, but maybe to you it's not a couch. I'm like, you know what? After 45 minutes, you know what, Ray? I'm going to the rec room. I'm going for a jog. So, and just like some people, I was like, if you spend less time bullshitting in prison and would became like a civil defense lawyer, you wouldn't be here right now.
You'd be dead.
Because, well, the way he would argue, though, I'm like, if you go to, I hope the fact I never asked him that you didn't represent yourself in the courtroom, because the judge would have just laughed you out the courtroom. And this is probably why you're doing prison time for, because there's a way to have a civil debate and make sense, and the way you're arguing basic logic, man. Like I said, you can spend all day arguing with me that, 2 + 3 = 6, and I'm going to say, no, explain to me in logic how you feel that 2 + 3 = 6. Like, because I know it doesn't, but some guys will just argue to endlessly a point, and I'm like, you've got no facts based on your argument. Like
2 × 3 = 6.
Mm-hmm. But he's saying 2 + 3 does, so. Oh, boy.
To some people, it actually does, though.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's a mental issue where their mind literally, utterly believes 2 + 3 = 6.
Yeah.
Do you have any? I've got like 19 news articles right now. It's been a fun week. I'm not even sure where to begin. Sure.
If I start, it's going to be busting on people, mostly celebrities, because we don't need them anymore.
I'm just going to pick a random thing.
The first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that the bubonic plague.
I just pulled it up on my computer.
Is back in China.
I told this to Mom.
Mongolia, China.
Yeah.
People are literally right now dying from bubonic plague. Bubonic fucking plague.
In 2020.
Something that has not existed.
Actually, it's been in California for a while, just not in enough cases to make
according
headway.
to this, Al, I did read this entire article. It did say that the plague hasn't gone anywhere, just that it's so rare that it's never talked about.
Exactly.
Like you'll get like apparently in America we've had like the past decade we've had like 5 cases in the past decade. So it's
all California.
But
all California.
Yeah. Fucking bubonic plague.
But
the Black Death. People are disgusting. That's what.
Basically, from the articles I've read and stuff, that the reason they're not taking this seriously for is because unlike back then, the antibiotics and technology we have nowadays, the medicine we have, is not making this a big scare for anybody. But
so I had that same conversation with John today. I was telling him like our medical technology has advanced to the point where the bubonic plague won't be that severe a threat, but it's just a fact that fucking thing is still alive and kicking. Like, what the hell?
And
I thought we stomped that thing out.
People didn't think COVID was going to be as big as it was, and look where we are now. Unfortunately, I never heard about in the dark ages the doctors giving out vaccines for the Black Death, so I'm going to hold my breath on this and press X to doubt.
So here's the thing: back in like the times of the Dark Ages, when a massive pandemic hit, everybody just died. Like, it was like, oh, what new sick? Oh.
But now we have far more people in closer quarters to just help it spread more, especially in a place like China.
Yeah, well, I guess this came from that. There was some Chinese herder in Inner Mongolia caught this, and but the main thing was what made this shit so scary was this caused the Black Death back in the Middle Ages, and over in England, it wiped out 1/3 of the population.
Across the fucking globe, it had that exact effect
Spanish
on every
flu
place that it affected.
Far scarier, though.
Yeah.
Spanish flu, 1913, that should kill 30 million people worldwide.
Yeah.
Which is fucking terrifying too.
So according to this is just global news. This came from about 5 hours ago. It's just saying that bubonic plague is nothing new, nor it is a risk to Canadians. Well, that's good for Canada.
It's a risk to everybody. Let's not call a pea an apple.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens long term with it. I mean, it's more, I think, at this point, funny than anything. But like, I was like, just when we read this, like, seriously, oh shit. So
scares me.
On Hollywood stuff, because Sue still hasn't watched it because she hates life. But I was reading about, like, with Henry Cavill, more talks about The Witcher, and
Pearl.
Elliot's seen this out. I think it's showing us too, where Henry Cavill. There's a YouTube video where he sits down. He's on this big, like, massive leather chair.
Oh,
He opens up a book and he reads like 2 pages from The Witcher, and he pours like this big, huge glass of, like, cognac, and he's stirring it and sipping it. And I'm reading, like, his muscles are so big, it's like they're bulging out of his shirt, and just he's reading.
Makes you feel a little vulnerable.
I mean, I watched this video about 5 times.
Both of you guys are making me very uncomfortable.
I showed this to Elliot and Junior and Carlton. I'm like, you know what? I watched that video and I started getting moist. Like, Henry Cavill just like in
reading The Witcher.
I like the comments. The top comment was like, after this video, it's like lesbianism decreased by like 100%, and gay men increased by 1,500%. It's like, this guy is so good looking. Sits down and is like, I'm Henry Cavill and I'm going to read 2 pages from The Witcher, and just the way he just looks he looks directly into the microphone, and he's just like got that look, and opens up the book, and I'm like, Henry, oh my god.
No, has anyone seen? No, a good comparison.
I wish I could do the Jonathan K voice. Oh my.
Has anyone seen Food Wars, the anime?
No.
Where people eat food and their fucking clothes explode.
Listen.
Like literally, he started talking. That was like me. Like, bam, my clothes exploded.
The thing I love the most about that anime is how the women's clothes fit them. It's hilarious. It's like the chick is wearing a t-shirt. The shirt is literally form-fitted over her tits. Like whose idea was this? It's ridiculous. Like, it makes me laugh every time. I was like, this is extremely sexy for a food anime.
Yeah, it's because I think it's supposed to kind of go with the food porn thing. Like, people get a lot of pleasure from eating. I get a lot of pleasure from watching those women eat and their clothes exploding.
Al's become inconvenient.
Yes.
I just became an inconvenient fat person.
Thank God Junior's not here.
I was just about to say that.
Speaking of...
Hey, foster dad, you're inconvenient and fat. You're going to die. I'm like, oh, God.
That's right.
It's probably him.
Yes. Speaking of some asshole, Junior's not here tonight, and I told this to Al, but I can tell Sue and Elliot that 2 days ago I see like a status on Facebook, and Junior.
I'm friends with Junior on Facebook. I already know he has a girlfriend.
But he updated his status and he has a girlfriend. I'm like, okay, I believe that when I see it. But so I go pick him up from work, and on the car ride home, like 5 minutes in, he's on his phone and he's bullshitting and saying his weak game as always. And at one point, he's like, I'm gonna talk to my friend Chris. I'm gonna hang up the phone and hear blah 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 blah. And he's like, okay, I love you too. And I'm like,
wow,
you just formed a relationship about 9 hours ago with this individual. You said on the phone on the car ride home in my presence, you said I love you too. I'm like, wow. It's like I realized that he was sitting in the car, and my car seat a different way, like he's more comfortable since his fucking balls have been removed. Like, you said
Listen, you don't know how long he's been talking to this girl. They've probably been involved for quite a while.
He probably got one blowjob. I'm in love.
Wait,
oh my God, he's become Chris.
Is he in a relationship with her or her fart box? Does he just want to tongue punch her fart box and that's it?
He's involved with both of them.
Yeah, man's in love, his
tongue's in love with her asshole.
His first girlfriend, in 10 years, so,
I wonder if he tried to read her poetry while doing it. Like, my dad is sad. Oh, he just joined my list like the Last of Us 2 directors, where he's just like
anyway
gonna be pompous and
so. The article I was making is that before Henry Cavill started filming The Witcher, we all seen him his infamous like reloading his biceps when he fought with Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, but he attributed it to doing the Witcher television show that when he filmed The Witcher, he did all of his own stunts. And he said he reasoned because he goes, after hanging out with Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, he goes, I've seen this man do all his own stunts. And you know what? I should probably do all my own stunts as well, because, and reading the article, he just said that for him, it does make it feel like when the fans are watching you, the fans feel a lot more connected when you're actually the one doing the stunts instead of a stunt double. And gotta respect him for that. Because Witcher, Elliot's seen it, well, Al too, a lot of good fucking fight scenes in The Witcher.
I don't know if I like my favorite stars doing their own stunts.
Hey.
Like the last thing I need is for my favorite fucking icon to fucking die of a broken neck because he's trying to impress his fans.
Right here, it just says, how much of what we see on screen, these fight scenes, is actually you swinging the sword? He goes, that's me 100%.
Oh my God.
He goes, I wanted the story to continue seamlessly all the way throughout, especially in episode 1, that fight scene. The fight coordinator and I was his team designed to fight to tell a story. It was important to them. I know it took him that one scene with that girl. He said that took them guys 3 weeks. 3 weeks of training for like 7 days a week, 12-hour fucking days to get that fight scene perfect. And hey, it's like... It
was beautiful.
Also, too, I just read yesterday Tom Cruise had a birthday, and I'm just like... The fact that, because of COVID, things have slowed down, but the filming's going to continue. He just signed the contract for 2 more Mission Impossibles. He just turned 56 years old.
I don't really care for the Mission Impossible movies.
Considering, but he does all his own goddamn stunts.
I know.
He's 56. Like, damn.
He's in way better shape at 56 than I have been my entire fucking life. That is a fact.
So, Sue.
Yep.
You got any topics? Because I don't think in all 21 episodes now, I think you bringing up a topic.
We've only had 19 episodes. This is number 20.
She's busy texting Longhorn.
Well, I was off by one. So, Sue, do you have
invite him to the podcast?
You have a topic?
No.
Supposedly Junior, I heard him say on the phone, like, oh yeah, with this podcast, you can come down and hang out with us. And I'm like, have you talked with the group about this situation, this decision you're making? Like, we don't have no idea who this new mysterious woman is, because it says...
Are we sure it's a woman?
Yeah.
Men have fart boxes, too.
Normally on Facebook, it will say, in a relationship with so-and-so.
You just made it too real, Elliot.
Hey, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I will always think of the other side.
Sure. Is it a woman?
Yeah, because it says on his thing, in a relationship. That's all it says. Like, with who? With what at this point? Like, who says he's even a human? I don't know.
If Junior wants to toss a coin to his Witcher, you guys should let him just let him do his thing.
I wonder, did Henry Cavill have his own stunt cock too during those sex scenes?
No, that's.
Junior came at me so hard over the whole freaking Longhorn situation.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you did.
You should feel obligated to roast him. You should feel obligated.
He came at you fast and hard. It was pretty dangerous.
Well, Al couldn't see that. I told Carlton, listen to 19. It's like the visual. If you wonder why I'm just dying laughing, because I did feel bad for Jen when she gets there. And a disclaimer, like, I wasn't laughing at Jen when she kept talking about her bad history and her boyfriends, but when you got this asshole Elliot next to me, he's sitting next to Junior with his 2 hands like a ruler, and he's measuring Junior's forehead constantly. I just could not hold it in, because then Susan's like, yeah, Junior, well, see, like Longhorn, he grabbed my hair, and it's a full head of hair. Woman grabs your hair, and all of it comes out on her hand, and I'm like, oh, Christ.
See, like I said, I don't have to even ask questions.
The things she's going to learn while she's dating him. Or he.
Because like Susan's like...
equal opportunity.
Because Susan's like, most men have to worry about like all the wind blowing through their long hair. Junior doesn't have that problem.
Hey, no, but I do. But now, look at that.
It's and at one point I heard Junior, he tells Elliot, he's like, stop measuring my forehead.
It's not my fault. It looked like I had a mullet and my short hairs were longer than what's on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's all cut and looks good, and it's still longer than him.
Elliot said during the podcast, he's like, since we were recording, it went back another inch. Like, Jesus Christ.
It did. I was mesmerized.
Oh, God.
I was like, oh, yeah, so... Like Al said to Sue, like, you got an obligation to get on him.
Oh, yeah.
Obligated.
So, yes, get on it. Oh, yeah, I meant roasting.
But, well, yeah, no, I have more topics, Sue, but unless you have something stirring over there. You just had Denny's and Uber Eats, so.
Yeah, I did.
Like I was mentioning, Al, well, this wouldn't affect Al. This would actually make Al happy. I said how utterly lazy we're becoming as a society where some asshole can call Uber Eats and have food brought to them,
Let me explain to you. In my perfect society, Uber Eats would be extended to Uber everything. I don't even want to have to take a shower. I need somebody to come to my house, wheel me into the tub, scrub me good, dry me off, and dress me.
And if they cause problems to rise, they take care of it. No questions asked.
Facts. If you make it stand up, you got to put it back down.
Jesus.
Hurl!
Hey, give her a good tip.
Giggity.
We'll give her the mayo cup.
No, never the mayo cup.
That's wife material.
She tries to take the mayo cup out of the apartment. It's problems. It's the kind of problems I don't think she signed up for.
But in the terms of service, Al is not legally liable for what happens to her if she touches the mayo cup. But no, seriously. So I'm highly interested.
Anything news related you've seen? Because I just see stuff on Facebook or Twitter. I just write stuff down, but there's no like. I mean, mostly like Hollywood stuff. I see like I got some birthdays you're gonna want to hear about that. Oh shit! But more shit with men not raping women but getting accused of it, and you know. So.
Oh, that's always a thing.
What I said, from episode 1. Has there
been any confirmation yet on if someone's replacing Amber Heard as? Actually,
today, if you want to go into that, I can.
Yeah, was it Amelia Clark?
I've heard some stuff.
Well, no, I was gonna say. Well, actually, as of today, because so far with this whole Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing, it's only been like up to that. Today's actually the first official day they're actually both now going to court, and they show pictures of Johnny Depp. He's wearing a mask, and she's wearing a mask, and yeah.
Killer Johnny.
The article today was apparently that one of the things.
Scissor hand style.
Get rid of that whore.
One of the things that happened was apparently that she says this was her and her friends making a prank, but he claims to have proof that, like, according to the hotel's maid services, that she took a shit on his bed. So he came home and there was a massive human shit on his bed, and she goes, "Oh, that was the dog's," and he's like, "I know the difference between dog shit and actual human feces."
Yeah. Like, feces,
whatever. Feces. So, yeah, that's part of what, like, they want to know why he divorced her for. He goes, "Well, this is one of the reasons I divorced her. In fact, she's shitting on my bed."
You say that, you remind me of
off one of his fingers.
You remind me of a funny story that happened to me back years ago. I used to work at a hotel.
Go, I'm gonna load this up. Go ahead and talk about that.
And this guy that used to work there is like the fucking funniest person I've ever met in my entire life. And he decided that when he left, he was going to leave with a bang.
That's what she said.
He screwed the back off of a TV, off one of the TVs in the room. You know how the TVs usually sit in the little shelf thing with the shelf that slides out? He took a bag. He took like a fucking Ziploc bag, took a shit in the bag, put water on the shit, and poked a tiny hole in it.
Oh, shit.
And took the back off a TV, put the shit inside the TV, and screwed it shut.
Oh.
And for weeks, people could smell that fucking aroma, and they had no idea where it was coming from. They fucking demolished the room. They fucking tore the walls up, tore the fucking floors up, got to every plumbing, all the pipes they could, and they couldn't figure it out. And eventually they got to the point where they just replaced everything in the room. Every day I came to work and fucking I would walk by that room with the fucking caution tape blocking the door off. I would just go into like hysterical laughter. And nobody knew why. It was because I knew what the fuck he did. Because he did that shit the day before he quit. And it took them fucking forever. Like they never actually found it. They ended up swapping everything in the room out just to fucking get rid of it. They never even actually fucking found that shit. But I thought that was like the most badass shit that ever happened.
That man's a fucking pioneer.
He's a fucking legend. I mean, this is what's crazy. It's like they would rent the room out. Like it would be guests in the room that would call downstairs like, "Yo, there is a horrible smell in my room. I don't know what it is or where it's coming from." And then people will come upstairs and be like, "Oh my God, what is this?" Like, and they cleaned the carpets, they changed out the beds and the sheets, all the linen, they changed everything out. The smell still persisted. It was crazy. It was like the first 4 days they couldn't figure it out. Then they started tearing up fucking walls and flooring and shit.
Wow.
It was just hilarious.
That man, I would have bought that man dinner.
Yeah.
Anyway.
After he quit that job, he moved out of the state, but I was like, yo.
What the would you do, Sue, if that was your hotel room?
I'd have to switch rooms, first off.
Smart.
And it was crazy because a lot of guests did that. Like they walked into the room and just walked right back out. It was like, oh, nope, hell no. Walked right back out the door.
Then like, text Longhorn the new room number.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It was one of them iconic things. Like that was a fucking epic.
So this says
fucked up and funny.
It's like how does your brain even come to that? Like, how would I would have never came up with that on my own. Like, I would have never thought of that.
Someone should have had a lute and played a nice song for him.
Toss a coin to your witcher.
Toss a coin to your shitter.
That song is so catchy. It really is.
It is. So I have it on my iPod.
This is from, so the headline is, I decided to divorce Amber Heard when she defecated in our bed. Johnny Depp calls his ex-wife a narcissistic sociopath who attacked him and denies ever hitting her blockbuster level court showdown. So, boy, this is going to be fun.
She looks like she likes to be choked.
Johnny Depp, that was a headline. The article saying that he claimed that he decided to divorce Amber Heard after she defecated in their marital bed as a prank. As he also denied hitting her and said she had abused him without their marriage.
Yeah, how does that go? Haha, it's not really a real shit, it's my shit. Like, wow, that's really a prank, honey. You're fucking stupid.
Listen, that's the type of shit that would get me arrested. Like, if I came into my room and got in my bed to go to sleep and I fucking rolled over in human feces and she came in the room laughing at me, I'd start throwing punches. Yeah. Like, that's the kind of shit that get you arrested. Like, what are you fucking doing? This is disgusting. Like, I am right now covered in human shit because you thought this was funny.
Yeah, because this whole thing is coming from, he's suing the son because they called him a wife beater after they divorced. And in a written statement, the actress said she said possibly one of her friends. She said it wasn't her, it was one of her friends, probably. Because Elliot, like, what I do is, for my wife, if I get married, I'm going to have you or Junior just come into our house and just take a shit in our bed. Like,
so, I mean, if you pay me enough and have me sign something, I won't be legally responsible. I might just. I'm up for money.
Yeah, so she said, and also,
I'd murder him.
It was, she dismissed it as just a harmless prank. And he said it was the final straw in their deteriorating marriage. Today, he took the stand to deny ever hitting her, as a series of newspaper stories allege, and said it was inconceivable that he would ever hit a woman, citing his Southern upbringing and saying he considers chivalry very important. He said, "It is a strong essential part of my moral code that I would never strike a woman under any circumstances. I find it simply inconceivable and would never happen."
I just got one question. Johnny Depp, if you ever hear this, will you be my father?
And of course, her lawyers...
Johnny Depp, if you ever hear this, I'll call you daddy.
No. Fuck Sue. I need a good father
Please,
figure.
fuck Sue.
No. You got Longhorn. Back away.
Hey,
Back
Longhorn already knows if Johnny Depp or Leonardo DiCaprio ever came into my life, I have a free pass.
Yeah, but Leonardo DiCaprio will come with a bear.
Fuck that bear.
I don't know. How drunk would you be?
Yeah. But so En's just saying that, Depp was all saying too, and we've heard this, but she was hitting him on a private jet, and then he went to the bathroom and hid from her. In contrast, of course, her lawyers are saying they're painting him as a domestic abuser who repeatedly attacked her when he was drunk or high on drugs. So, but this is the first day that they're both in court. So, and but her shitting in his bed, that's a new one.
Right now, I'm going through a problem that is becoming very prevalent in American society. Like, she's a real cunt, but I can't bring myself to hate her because she's so hot.
I'll do it. I'll hate her twice for you.
Would you allow her to shit in your bed, Al?
Yeah.
She's not really that hot, though.
She is hot.
I don't.
She's hot.
Not really.
She's
there are
skinny.
prettier women in this world.
I look like I would
Amber
break
Heard
her
is
by
fucking
hugging her.
Amber Heard is a slut.
But she's hot.
That makes her hotter. Like, being a slut doesn't take away from her hotness. Like, this is the thing.
She's a cunt.
Well, we're not debating that. He just said she's a cunt.
That's not even, that's not up for debate.
No,
I'm not even going to
no.
defend her actions. What I'm saying is, she's a bitch, but she's a hot bitch.
If you took the brain out of that body, come on. Like,
No. Maria Brink. There we go.
In this moment. But,
who is Maria Brink?
In this moment.
Even
the
worse.
singer.
Look her up sometime.
No, hey. I love her. I love her music. I've seen her, I think, two or three times.
I feel so sorry for you.
I love the music.
That's a sexy woman. Like,
I love the music.
She makes me like that makes my penis afraid. Like,
no, it's not even a sexual
a ton
thing.
of women make your penis afraid.
She's just a damn powerful woman. I love how she just does what she wants and doesn't give a shit. And her music is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'll show you.
I
some
love
pictures.
you, Maria
No,
Brink.
she has some sexy pictures. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
There's pictures of her in the whore video where she's sitting butt naked on a stool. It's like, my God, I drool over that one.
Well, yeah, she has some good and bad pictures like anybody, but she has, there's some pictures that are not great, some pictures are good.
She could definitely get this work. I mean, she's not a bad looking broad.
No.
Pearl.
She'll beat the shit out of people. She looks like the kind of chick who'll put someone in a chokehold. No,
she definitely has it like, if you fall asleep, she's probably going to slit your throat. I mean,
yeah. If she don't like you, you're dead.
Yeah. But I do respect that her
Listen, I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound wild.
Uh-huh.
The type of girl that would like attack you to the point of trying to kill you while you're asleep would be fun for a little while. Let's be honest. Like, she'd be fun for a little. You'll be like, yo, I have to like be on my P's and Q's around this bitch.
No, that's Amber Heard. She's gonna shit on your face while you're asleep.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, the reason Johnny Depp married Amber Heard, one is because she's insanely hot.
Yeah.
Two is because she's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's the things that attracted him to her until it became unbearable.
Yeah.
Like, that's usually how it goes.
Well, that's like...
Yeah, but you don't marry someone who acts like that. That's the...
I mean, an average person wouldn't do it.
No.
But
Hollywood's different.
Yeah, Johnny Depp is Johnny Depp.
He's
probably seen all types of wild, crazy shit.
If I were in Amber Heard's shoes and I married Johnny Depp...
Chris.
But
Yeah, give it a shot.
But you're not Hollywood, so you're not born and raised in Hollywood.
Understand
Neither
that.
was Amber Heard, though. She wasn't born and raised in Hollywood.
But she's part of it.
Yeah, but she's hot, and she had a bunch of men tell her she's hot her whole life, so she started feeling like she's
a piece
entitled.
Of shit.
No, we agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not even up for debate. Like,
it's like right now with Brad and Angelina. They finally got divorced, and Angelina, she was with Billy Bob holding vials of blood around her fucking neck.
She was psycho.
Yeah, and Brad was fucking the shit out of her too.
Well, Brad's psycho.
Yeah. Brad is fucking crazy, and he likes crazy bitches. That's why him and fucking Jennifer Aniston couldn't work out.
Exactly.
Because she's a sane human being. He needed somebody that was fucking ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah. But here's the thing. Now, if Johnny Depp actually did do what she's trying to say he did to her, now, if I'm sitting there and I'm saying, well, you know what, fuck that, Johnny Depp's still hot, how many people will be looking at me saying, well, it doesn't matter how fucking hot he is?
Well, that's the difference between men and women.
Yeah.
Like, men
would say the same thing to me, though.
Men are never viewed as victims when we are like under assault by a woman. Like, if a man is in a domestic abuse relationship, he's still not seen as the victim. From a woman's point of view, it's different. If you're a woman and you're being abused, you're a victim, and we acknowledge it. So it's like a man is accustomed to living an existence where a woman could be totally psycho and do crazy shit, and he'll be like, I'd still date her. Like, for women, it's different. Women do the same thing, though. Women still date crazy men, knowing that they're crazy and abusive, and still be like, something about him that I like, or whatever. You know, the difference is, women could make that choice and then get to say, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm being abused. Men don't get to do that. I mean, men can do it, but you get looked at as a pussy.
It's true, though.
Actually, that's completely true.
Well, right now, I'll pull this up in a second. You hear about this whole case going down in I gotta find it now, about the 24-year-old woman and the 14-year-old kid. Yeah. Okay, I'll pull up in a minute because I gotta. But I seen little tidbits. It said there's been so many fucking articles going on. Like, this is from University of Scranton student accused of sexual relationship with a 14-year-old, but she's 24. She's 24 and he's 14.
Listen, that's
Throw
not
that bitch in jail.
Yeah.
That's not nothing new. I told you guys a few episodes back. Like, for me, it's a fucking. That's not even a situation. Any woman that would sleep with a minor, an underage boy, throw her in jail, fucking throw away the keys. Because if the roles were reversed, you'd crucify that guy. As you should. Like, I'm not defending any man that's molesting kids. So I'd be goddamn if I defend any girl. Like, a lot of people are like, oh no, he's a boy. You know, he scored with a woman, high five, blah, blah, blah. That's how I would, because of the double standard, I'll be honest and say that if it was my own son, I probably would be proud that my son was able to pull a hot 24-year-old at the age of 14. I would be impressed by it, but I'm still not letting up on her because she's still a pedophile. You still rape the kid. Like,
South Park did this, by the way.
Oh, yeah, when Ike,
Oh, yeah, it's like, and how old was she? Oh, that's her teacher. Nice. So it's like, wait. And Kyle was the voice of reason. It's like, no, throw her in jail. She's screwing my brother. It's like, how hot was she? Nice. It's like, god damn, that's really how the world works.
That's how the world works. That's how the world sees it. And to me, it's just crazy. Like, I am not letting up on any woman that's abusing a child. And you know what's crazy? Like, there was this thing online, this article that was talking about how female, like, teachers molesting young male students is on the rise. Like, since, like, I think it was, like, somewhere from, like, 2016 to now, the numbers are fucking staggering. It's like, every year, there's, like, 5 or 6 women arrested for assaulting, like, that, like, from like just a historical standpoint, that's always been a man's position. Like, the men have always been the ones fucking up on that level, where men are molesting young girls using their position of authority to molest girls, and women have always taken a stance of how horrible this is and it's wrong and it shouldn't be done. But now women are like running a very fast race to catch up to men in terms of being fucking pedophiles and monsters.
Or
like,
they've always been in first place, just nobody wants to report it.
And that's something that I remember somebody was having a discussion. I was watching a thing online, and a guy was talking to a group of people about that, and it was like, consider the fact that the possibility for women having always been predators, but never given that role. Like, that role was always given to men, because we always saw women as second-class citizens, weaker or less than men. So we never ever put them in the position of having the ability to be predators, but they've always had that capability, because men, let's be honest, men do crazy things for pussy. Like,
it's true.
And a young boy, the first time he's had a hard-on, or the first time he's felt a vagina, he's fucking...
It's true. I remember many a crazy thing I did for a woman, and let me tell you, I'm not a high and mighty dude. I would most likely do it again.
I am ashamed of some of the things I've done for sex. Like, the lies I've told, I have lied some ridiculous lies to get vagina, and I'd never do it again. But like, I look back at it and I chalk it up to something like a lot of men go through. Not every man goes through it, but most men go through a situation where you meet a girl or girls that you really want to sleep with, and you have to get creative, because she's just not going to come out of them panties.
I just get highly kind of out there. Some of them like it. Some of them.
Think of all the wars that have been fought over
I
sex.
know.
Like,
Helen of Troy. Jesus, I think that's one of the most famous ones. Helen of Troy. It's like, my God, how special was she? Well, back in the day, I'm like, yeah, but today she'd be meh. Like, I'm not fighting a war for meh.
Consider what it took for a woman to be considered beautiful way back then. All she had to do was be clean.
Yeah.
She didn't even have to be attractive.
Excuse me, honey. Do you wash your ass? Yes, I want you. I want you now.
She combs her hair and wears a clean dress. This has got to be the hottest woman
Chris
on the planet.
Like, wait, can I read poetry? I'm like, yes, you're in the age where reading poetry is the best shit ever. Read your poetry, Chris. Yeah, he would have.
Yeah.
You are the doom of Troy.
Uh-oh. I guess Jen might not be here.
Oh, God.
Apparently she's arguing with a drunk lush, and
Jesus Christ.
Cause I sent her a text, and it's like, here's all I said. Where you at? Just right to the point with her. Where you at?
So we did talk about recently, just like kind of a somewhat update with the whole thing with Ron Jeremy, how he's been,
What's going on with him?
Recently, this is kind of fucked up. So he's pled not guilty to 3 charges of rape and 1 charge of sexual assault. But now 25 new allegations have been reported against him.
See, this is my thing. My problem is, initially I want to be on the side of a guy that's accused. And I feel like if you accuse him, then prove your case. Like, if you prove your case and he's actually doing fucked up shit, then I'm with you. I'm on your side 100%. But then it like, when I hear a number like 25 women, then I feel like this guy's a fucking monster. Like, this dude needs to be locked away. I don't even want to hear stories anymore. Like, I don't even want, like, it's insane. Like, and consider his background. He came from porn, so like the ideas that he might have about what is consensual sex to women might not be the same for you and I. Yeah. Like, exactly. So he might be like in a whole different mindset. I don't know. I'm waiting to see how that goes, though.
Well, it says, but this is, even despite the accusations, so 3 of the women accused him of sexually assaulting them at a West Hollywood bar, and then 1 woman claimed that he raped her at her home. It says, if convicted, he could face up to 90 years in prison. and
isn't he in his 60s?
67 years old.
He's fucking already dead. Like,
so this is saying that apparently he's still in bail, which I'm not sure how he's tweeting while he's in jail, because I know I couldn't tweet from jail.
Well, bail doesn't necessarily mean jail. It means if you give them money, then you're out.
Well, this is that he remains in jail though, and in lieu of a $6.6 million bail. But he still, so maybe he didn't. Maybe it wasn't his tweet himself. Could have been a friend or some shit. But
it could have been a representative.
So his only statement was that these allegations are pure lies or buyer's remorse. Okay, I have never and would never rape anyone. All serious allegations have been investigated by police and dismissed by judges, as most of the accusations of groping. I'd never been charged nor spent one day in court for any of this. So
I would never want to be rich or famous at this point. I've always thought of starting a band or becoming a cop or doing something really great with my life. Mm-hmm. But after all this shit happened, no, I don't want to. I don't even want people to come near me. It's like, nope, never touch anybody. See, my hands are up in this photo. I couldn't possibly have touched her ass. My hands are above her head.
I'd love to be rich, not famous. I don't want the world involved in my business. Fucking living life under a microscope, everybody judging everything you say or do. I couldn't live like that.
Fucking sad.
So that's the update with our good old boy Ron there. Whew, boy.
Fucking Ron Jeremy, the legend.
It's like Al said, it's one thing about 25 new women.
Yeah, it's hard to fucking feel like you're on his side when like an army of women are being like, nah, this dude definitely is a rapist.
I'm still innocent until proven guilty, unfortunately.
I mean,
not unfortunately. That's me. Like I hope the truth comes out, and until then, I'm not gonna think too much of it.
Yeah.
He was in Orgasmo, and that dude was a fucking legend.
Well, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, so wasn't Bill Cosby.
Bill
Cosby's a monster.
You wanna have my pudding?
I'm still angry at Bill Cosby.
I loved him.
Everybody loved him. The thing about Bill Cosby that triggers me every time is the fact that he's fucking Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to do this stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, women wanted to fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, that shit was crazy to me.
He was my father.
That's why
when mine wasn't around.
There's something we could talk about. Not Bill Cosby, but America's new favorite dad.
Pudding Pop.
Who is it?
Ed O'Neill.
Who?
Oh, Ed O'Neill. Al Bundy. Yeah. I'll talk about that later. I told me and Susan the other day, we sat up after we got a pizza and we watched like 4 hours of Al Bundy.
Listen, whenever you're ordering pizza and watching Married with Kids, you need to fucking call me.
No.
It was 1 o'clock.
Fat ass over here.
No.
And I will be cuddling Sue.
See, I got something over you then. I was invited to stay for the pizza.
Now I feel slighted.
Yes, you are slighted. I somehow become that less hated.
Yeah, that's a good topic. That's a good night. I found this random news article. This is so stupid. I had to laugh at how stupid this was because it's. Let me just read it. It's so stupid you're gonna fucking laugh. Like, all right, Little Caesars, they fired 2 employees.
Oh, for the swastika
after
pizza?
a couple found a pizza that was a swastika made out of pepperonis on the pizza.
So they got extra pepperoni and they were mad?
I'll be honest with you.
It's so stupid I gotta laugh.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the type of situation I wouldn't know how to feel about. Because I'd be mad at the swastika, but I still eat the pizza. I'd be like, you son of a bitch.
Oh my God. This extra pepperoni makes it that much better. Should I be angry or happy they gave me free pepperoni?
I'll be like, how dare you defile my pizza? Defile my pizza.
I'm fucking offended by this shit. So yeah, in Ohio,
I wouldn't know what to do with that situation.
They took the picture and everything. An Ohio couple say they were shocked and disappointed when they opened their ready-made pizza to see pepperonis arranged in the shape of a reverse swastika. Things like this are keeping hate alive in this world. Of course, we all need the exact opposite of that right now. But
less pepperoni.
He was on his way home from his mother-in-law's house when he stopped by to pick up a dinner for his family. He says he grabbed a hot and ready pizza from the warmer, which we all have. He got home ready to dig in when the couple opened the box and say they found this. So
I don't know. If it was hot and ready, you'd just be ready to go.
We were literally silent for a few moments. Misty, his wife, asked me if I had ordered it, and they had to make it and gave me that on purpose, thinking they were targeted or something. They said he tried to call the store prior to 10 p.m., close to closing time. It says their line was busy. That's when we, of course, went to social media to express our anger and show our family and friends what that kind of place Little Caesars was. But the two employees admitted to doing it. They're saying that it was supposed to be a prank between two friends.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, and I hear it, and that's what it sounds like. It's the type of stupid shit that you do with your friend, like, let's put a swastika pepperoni on this pizza and see if we can freak out the next person that opens his box. Like, it's the stupid shit that you do. Like, I'm not saying it's right, bearing, like, obviously it's a swastika, so anybody that opens the box is gonna be offended. Yeah. But it doesn't sound like they targeted the guy. Like, it wasn't. Yeah, because like what the employees were trying to say was that they made it for each other. They were going to take it home and share it for each other, and they accidentally, somebody gave it out, and it wasn't supposed to be. Yeah, it was supposed to be a prank between two friends. So that's why I said this is something that it's so dumb that like but of course they got fired for it. So but still,
well, they got caught doing it. So yeah, but I'm sorry, that's kind of just out there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mixed feelings. Like, damn, all that extra pepperoni gone to waste.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's a type of pizza. I would open the box and be angry while I ate the swastika pizza. Like, I'd be like, you son of a...
Yeah, it's like that video where that dude was eating Aunt Jemima pancakes with Aunt Jemima syrup. Like, if this is racism... I'm like, God, I want what that motherfucker's having.
There's been small updates with that. I'll look it up in a second. So
what happened with the Aunt Jemima brand? Well, did they change the name?
When you talked about that, I actually did look at another video with research. The original Aunt Jemima, the one we have right now, that's, if you can find, still buy. The image right now too is not the original image. The original image was an older black woman that she had this white, like basically bandana and stuff, and a whole white apron. That was taken down years later to the current model. So, and again, like anything, there's been various actresses who are the spokesperson for Aunt Jemima, but the actual current symbol on there, this isn't of an actual person, it's just a picture that they made. So, and there's been like, I think 5 or 6 different actresses who were the spokesperson for that brand, and all their families, and even some of the women are saying, we find this, like, it's fine. It's like, we don't want to change it, but there is a petition actually going on, a fan petition to keep it. I mean, the company's going to do what they want, but the fact that they're making petitions now to keep it the way it is, like, I'm going to look it up in a second.
That's one of the things where I'd be like, are the families bothered? Because if the families aren't bothered, I'd be like, well, is it really a problem then?
It's literally been
the people who are directly affected by it.
It's their grandkids or great grandkids. At every single family that's been involved, they're all against changing it. They feel like, this was their mother or the grandmother was a spokeswoman. And also, let's be honest too, guys, look at the history. None of these women, except for possibly the first one, they were all millionaires off being the spokesperson. They were all well taken care of. And some of their family, they're still getting royalty checks to this day. So it's like...
I find it inspirational that you can literally come from shit, and if you have something great, you can become better.
Yeah, so there are there are different petitions out there. Husbands, I mean, it's just all kinds of shit. Like there's whoever B. Smith is.
Them pancakes are delicious.
Yeah. I am a fan of pancakes, man. Like I'll be honest when I say that the syrup doesn't matter to me. Yeah, like it doesn't have to be Aunt Jemima syrup. I could literally get syrup from any brand. Go to IHOP and fucking lose myself in a sugar rush.
In spite of that, this came up. I'm getting this from CNN of all places, but like I didn't know about this myself. That when was the last time anybody here had a delicious Eskimo pie?
A what?
Eskimo pie.
So you gotta break that down to me, because when I think Eskimo pie, my brain goes to like a sexual thing.
Yeah, so. It is a chocolate covered vanilla ice cream bar. It looks just like it's a popsicle, but it's an Eskimo pie.
Oh, a Klondike.
The Klondike bar.
But imagine a Klondike bar on a stick. That's an Eskimo pie.
Oh, I've had one I think like 4 months ago. Yeah. They're delicious.
But it's never been a racist thing.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Unless you're Eskimo. Because if I'm an Eskimo, I'll be like, why the fuck are you calling these Eskimo pies? What the fuck is going on with this shit? I'm not making no money off these goddamn ice cream pies.
It's chocolate on top of vanilla. It's the best of both worlds. That's not racist.
After nearly 100 years, Eskimo pie ice cream will get a new name.
What?
We are now committed to being part of the solution of racial equality.
That's not a fucking solution. That's racism.
And to recognize the name is derogatory.
No, the fuck it's not.
The chocolate covered vanilla ice cream joins brands such as Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben's that are saying that they're considered racially offensive.
Go fuck yourself.
The only people that get to decide whether it's offensive or not are the Eskimos. Like, if the Eskimos are offended by it, then by all means,
I have to ask you this, everyone here.
Else.
Is the term or the name Eskimo considered racist?
No, that
in my lifetime,
listen,
I'll
say this, and I don't want to. Just in case it is, I want to be clear and put this disclaimer out. I don't know that it is because I think Eskimos are technically what they're called.
That's what we have all thought.
So I don't know if the word Eskimo is offensive. If it is, I'd like to apologize for being offensive to the Eskimos, as I call them Eskimos again. But I don't know if it's offensive or not. Honestly, all jokes aside,
Dreyer's Grand Ice Cream has been reviewing the business for some time. The name, quote-unquote, Eskimo is commonly used in Alaska to refer to Inuit and Yupik people, according to the Alaskan Native Language Center at the University of Alaska. This name is considered derogatory.
Eskimo is derogatory?
In many other places because it was given by non-Inuit people and was said to mean eater of raw meat. Linguists now say the word has another origin, based on a word meaning to net snowshoes. The Language Center notes on its website. But people of Canada and Greenland prefer other names.
Canada is sensitive to anything, so they don't count.
This says, Nestle sold Dreyer's ice cream and the rest of its U.S. ice cream brands to some company, a joint venture with a private equity firm for a $4 billion deal in 2019. But, maybe I'm only 38, but like Eskimo pie has been around for 100 years. I've never in my life, it just never heard the term Eskimo. Like we see it in video. I don't know. When has it ever been derogatory?
Pandering.
Yeah.
Like I watched A&E and I love to watch like Below Freezing about these people who survive in Antarctica. Eskimos and everybody, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I love the show. Never once did they're like, oh, Eskimo is offensive. I'm like, okay, so.
Like, I stand by the statement. Like, the only people that get to make that decision are I guess I have to refer to them as now the Inuit people. I can't call them Eskimos anymore. But they're the only ones that get to decide that. If it is offensive to them, then it has to be acknowledged as offensive.
This will be the common thing where it's like people said, like, I think Indian's offensive. And I'm like, guys, it's 2020. I mean, I'm not full-blooded Mohawk, but like, again, from my resin, I've talked to Matt about bringing Matt down here. I put in for personal day. Matt said in a heartbeat, he'll come down. He's listened to our podcast. He was, dude, I'd love to come down and talk about the res in 2020.
Watch out, Matt. Watch out.
What the Mohawk res? Well, I mean, ask Matt. No one I know from the res has ever found Indian offensive because we're like, guys, we just don't care. It's like there's so much other shit going on.
Keep in mind that there are, pockets of Indians spread out across the country. So because your res doesn't find it offensive doesn't mean that other people aren't offended by it.
That's
and
I
feel like in all honesty, the only people that get to decide whether it's offensive or not are the people that are directly affected by it. Like, if natives say to me right now, Indian is an offensive word, I will never call another one of them an Indian because that's just...
It's not offensive.
It's them that is affected by it. Like
that's almost like what our cancel culture now and on our comedy culture. It's like if you ask a million Indians, whatever, you ask a million of them. If like what it's like if even 5 are offended, it's like out of a million, it's
everyone's offended,
and that's becoming our problem.
Did you hear about Twitter apparently referring to yourself as him, her, they, them, or za? Is offensive, so you can't even talk about yourself in any way, shape, or form that identifies one of your 199 made-up
the gender thing's getting weird.
I will be goddamn if I give up pronouns.
I'm a he.
Somebody wants to be crazy.
When I piss, there's a set of balls and there's a cock between my legs. I'm a man.
No matter how small it is.
Yeah, because Sue somehow knows. But apparently that never stopped her from looking. Hi, Sue. How you doing? No mayo, Chup. This is all me. I remember you like choking and hair pulling.
We do hit a point now where it's like...
roll back.
Holy shit.
Some bananas.
Choking and hair pulling?
Yes.
Is that your thing?
Well, you weren't here.
I can oblige.
No. It's okay. You weren't here.
You're not white enough.
Oh.
I'm not what enough?
But I am.
You're not Longhorn.
Oh. I thought you're not white enough.
I'm not Longhorn.
Oh, okay.
I'm second.
Longhorn is half and half.
I'm second horn. I'm
That's
kind of
racist.
I'm like
Racist
3/4.
as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, Sue, now that I know you're racist,
Yeah.
I retract my feelings.
Still
Okay.
kind of sexy though. Still kind of sexy. I'm not gonna lie. Doesn't faze me.
Well, see,
I'm
that's the
kinda
cool
in the
thing.
middle.
Pulling hair is something that Junior doesn't have to worry about. So
Exactly.
Not
Like
when
his
you're
girlfriend's
putting-
just going to come away with a handful of like
Yeah.
Rogaine enhanced non-existent hair.
She's just gonna fart on his tongue anyways. Who cares?
Exactly.
Like, oh, honey, put your tongue here. Like, oh,
If she
God.
shits in his mouth, Junior will love it.
Yeah.
God.
Like, I was supposed to be
boy.
on the.
Like
I was
Junior
supposed to
won't
be on
have
the
to worry about if
podcast.
she shits in his bed.
Jesus Christ.
He'll be all about it.
He might punch that fart box, Junior. Punch it.
Punch it with your tongue.
Put on that Rogaine
Jesus
too.
Christ. Yeah. The whole,
I don't care that your hairline's receding.
Yeah, it looks really
Comb it over
bad.
like that.
this is kind of upsetting me. We keep mentioning this too with our how much we're getting sick and tired of like I don't know pandering and overly correcting shit and so this is a thing now which I never knew about in my lifetime. So did you know? It's hard again. It's so stupid. Some stuff we read online. The fact that we're actually doing this now. It's like if you would have told me 5 years ago, Chris, this is going to happen. I would I'd tell my future self, you're lying your ass off because this kind of stupid can't exist in the world, but it does though.
Oh, it can.
So yeah. So Dungeons and Dragons. They're going to banish the racist stereotypes.
What racial? I play a
Yeah,
pony
go give it a second.
and a drow. I play a dark elf who murders more people than anybody.
We'll get into this
on
on
the
a
party.
side note because Al mentioned actually all of us watched this too. We watched it with Mom. Al watched it when the movie Bright came out with Will Smith. With Will Smith, when it came out, like 30 million people that weekend watched Bright. Like it was a fucking global sensation. Yeah. And boy, apparently all of us are just racist pricks who didn't understand the racial stereotypes in Bright. So we'll get into that in a minute. But
I can break this apart.
Dungeons and
easily.
Dragons is now reconsidering what it means to be evil.
Are you fucking kidding me? I play a pony kind. In case you don't know what that means, it's like these adults who like to dress up like horses. Mm-hmm. I play a pony kind who eats people, humans, and everything in between. I ate a dwarf and left his head for other players to find.
Well, this is Wizards of the Coast who made the game.
Cersei Lannister would have loved you.
I play a drow. That's a dark elf. And guess what?
Oh, did you see that with Community?
Fuck them.
Al,
He's
you
12
see that,
feet
Al?
tall and murders people. I've killed elves. I've killed drow. I've killed humans. I made it to piss himself. Fuck you weaklings. I'm a god.
I haven't watched that show Community. It has Chevy Chase and everybody in it, but that one, the one Asian actor, he's been in a bunch of different TV shows like The Hangover and stuff. Well, this Asian actor dressed up as a dark elf. And because he had a bunch of black makeup on to be a dark elf,
Drow.
they had to ban this episode because that's considered blackface.
Go fuck yourself. They're called dark elves
No,
because they live
no,
in caves and don't
If an
see the
Asian
light of
actor
day.
puts on makeup, he's got to be racist.
People can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
I play a drow character, and guess what? You are not stopping me.
So this is saying Wizards of the Coast that they're making changes to in response to the ongoing protests over racism and police violence. I have no idea how Dungeons and Dragons has anything to do with protests and racism in our okay.
Oh,
Let's keep going.
the cops pulled me over right in a flying disc.
They're editing some past racist descriptions as well as adding more diverse writers. The game's designers are also making fundamental change to the way certain playable characters are portrayed.
So basically, they're telling nerds how to play a game for nerds.
Well, when you play Dungeons,
that you're racist if you're a nerd.
Well, apparently I didn't know this as
That
well.
all four kids from freaking Stranger Things are nerds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the black one and the female.
Especially Lucas and Max
and
and
the one
Elle.
with the lisp. That dude with the lisp especially
Dustin.
triggered me. Especially the one who was kidnapped and
Right.
turned into the evil guy. I was triggered.
When you play Dungeons and Dragons, usually referred to as D&D, one of the first steps you make is create a character.
Fucking
They can be a
losers.
human, or an elf, or a gnome, or some other mythical creature. These classifications each come with their own backstories as well as their own baggage. While it's generally up to you if your character is good or evil, or somewhere in between, historically, some of these characters were depicted in a villainous, monstrous light. Orcs were always brutish savages. Drow were dark elves that live underground, but they were also dark-skinned and evil.
Wrong.
So Sheldon, Howard, Leonard, and Raj are all racist.
It is a thing lurking under the surface that really is painful for people who have faced these sorts of stereotypes in the real world. The game developer is saying that when she first started getting into the game and was trying to encourage her black friends to do the same, she got a certain amount of hesitance. It's hard to see yourself in any role-playing game of Dungeons & Dragons if you're a person of color, specifically black and brown people. A lot of characters that are black or brown or blue, they're evil, they're very one-dimensional. And Dungeons & Dragons is a game about being yourself and anyone you want to be. But of course, any game needs its villains. It's just that they will be villains because they have made villainous choices, not because they were born villainous.
Wait, but look at me. I'm not white. I'm a man of color. I played a drow because I thought it would be awesome. My character went from a couldn't speak common idiot to he's now a fucking king who's on his way to become a god who everyone fears but loves. And I'm about ready to kill a god, another god. How is that racist when I, as a person of color, am playing a fictional fucking character who can't possibly exist today because green orcs running around our streets bashing cars in is really a thing? Grow the fuck up and get thick skin.
Well, when Bright came out, Al, did you like Bright?
I like Bright. I
definitely did. Did you see all the racial stereotypes that were in Bright?
I'm different, man. I don't watch movies for the same reasons that other people.
Well, I'm not a fan. I'm not sure I really know this guy, but people, when it came out, people like Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper, he didn't like the racial stereotypes that, he felt that, so he tweeted that, I felt a little cheated when I see allegorical racism in movies. But they're trying to make the fact that, how orcs are persecuted, and the first orc to become a cop, that's an allegory to black people in the film. And also, the elves were all powerful and intelligent and all white.
They were. Elves were magical beings. They were more enhanced with magic than physical trait. An elf would get their asses handed to them in a physical fight. Look at Lord of the Rings. What did the elf do? He stayed at a distance because he couldn't take a physical hit.
So this came on, okay. LAPD is Joel Edgerton, which played the orc in the film, is a first non-human cop, a diversity hire. It says, the setup bears suspicious similarities to the 1988 sci-fi movie Alien Nation, which I loved. But James Caan plays the grouchy cop, partnering up with the alien newbie. But in Bright, Will Smith is a human, so you've got an African-American who's basically playing a racist, right? Early on, Smith also brutally batters to death an innocent fairy, stating, fairy lives don't matter. Again, huh? Smith described the role as an interesting flip, but it gave him room to see it from a different angle. So
fairies aren't real. How can you be racist against a character that literally does not exist?
Yeah. So, it's like they're just breaking down this whole arc about fantasy characters, from like orcs and elves and fairies and et cetera, et cetera. But like, it's just, when Bright came out, the fact that people were they're comparing orcs to black people and elves and fairies to white, it's just, okay, guys.
So should I not play a Final Fantasy game because I play a person who
I never
murders animals?
thought that orcs and any kind of evil entity, any kind of fantasy were considered minorities and good guys. Okay.
What they forget to... I play Pathfinder, which is a variant of Dungeons & Dragons. What they forget to say is that you can choose your alignment going from lawful good to chaotic evil. I play a drow who is a dark elf, and I'm dark. It has nothing to do with it. I just felt that my character would be best portrayed as a drow. He went from a nobody to a king, and he's becoming the god of ice. Because, oppression is so bad that a fictional fucking character can't be more than a I don't understand your language moron. Yeah, go fuck yourself. If you don't play it, shut the fuck up.
I don't know how this is destroying our fantasy now, but it's a thing.
It's because these are the losers who sit in their parents' basements. I'm offended because no girl will ever date me, so... Women streamers are bad. Everybody is bad. I'm going to become a male feminist because it helps my chance of getting pussy. It's It doesn't. Male feminists are the worst because more and more of them are found out to be pedophiles and woman abusers. You pieces of shit. Fuck you. Get out of my game. I hate you all. You're fucking stupid.
So, have you guys heard about the
we found Elliot's trigger.
Yeah. Well, we start fucking with our fantasy, but
I play these games. I never once thought I'm a drow. Everyone is fucking racist. Oh, I'm a pony kind who literally turned into a monster who eats everything because I'm a psychotic piece of shit. Racism.
They're definitely trying. They're just stretching out to everything where it's like we just can't do it. Like
them.
It's like what's next? I started playing Halo and like the human Marines are the white guys and
Master Chief.
The aliens are the black or whatever the Asians.
Well, have you seen the voice actors?
Yeah.
Yeah, Arbiter's played by a black man, and guess what? I fucking love his work.
Keith David was probably the best part of that saga.
And Master Chief, oh my god, he was really a nobody until Halo came out. But guess what? These guys are fun-loving people who just talk to the fans. They just want people to find a source of happiness. Let people have happiness. If your happiness is staying at home on your phone or computer because you're such a loser, you have to bring everything down to make you feel better. Guess what? At the end of the day, you're gonna die alone. I'm going to laugh when you die alone.
But it's the problem with companies now. Companies got to stop catering to this shit.
Because they're losers. They don't care about how you feel. It's how much they can pander to make that dollar. Yeah. You don't matter. It's how much you pay that matters.
Well, I've gotten to this argument recently with this person about, we mentioned Married with Children. There was a time period, actually, me and this guy got into this big, long debate about Blazing Saddles coming up, Married with Children. And years ago, like, ever since the creation of the first episode of Married with Children, Al Bundy as a character was some people found offensive. If you had a problem with Al Bundy, you could just stop watching the show.
But not everybody is a happy-go-lucky person. Not everybody wins the Mega Millions or gets their dream job or gets their dream husband or wife or gets the dream family. Some people, we just live in the situation we have. We make the best of it. And guess what? It's not happy. Some people might be like, oh, that's a shitty life. Well, you know what? It's my shitty life, and I make the fucking best of it. I may have a shitty family. I make the best of it. I may have shitty friends. I make the best of it. It's a shitty job, but at least I have a job.
So, did you guys hear about the coronavirus exemption cards?
Fuck
the coronavirus exemption?
They're fake, but face mask exemption cards are fake. Feds warn. The federal government had to put out a statement because people were walking around. I'll read it to you right now, and let's see it. This is in plastic. Face mask exemption card. I'm exempt from any ordinance requiring mask usage in public. Wearing a face mask possesses a mental and/or physical risk to me. Under the Americans and Disabilities Act (ADA), I'm not required to disclose my condition to you. And they're saying, "Hey guys, it's bullshit." So the feds officials are warning that cards purporting to exempt people from having to wear face masks when in public are phony. So, but people are walking around with these cards to, get into businesses and stuff.
It's actually not a bad idea.
It's just
shows how stupid people are, though, that if they actually do believe those are real.
Well, nowadays it's hard to tell because, it's me and Al go with this with our job with the whole actually most companies now too, the whole support animal thing where it's just it's like, well, someone has a support animal, what's it for? Well, you can't ask me that. And I'm like, well, if you're bringing a panda or something or a crocodile onto my plane, I might want to know what it's there for.
You looked up though, you can't buy a panda.
Huh? No, you never know. You know enough people, but yeah, some of these emotional support pets that people have brought onto public spaces are do you need to have a goat or something, or just
they're supposed to be wearing a vest saying that they are a service animal.
So, Jen isn't here, but I want to ask her this. But I found this happened actually a year ago, which this was news to me, but a lot of stuff happens. So, want everyone's opinion on this. So Alabama, they did pass a law for chemical castration for here's the problem I have, of course, but for some sex offenders. So not sex offenders, only certain sex offenders. and this is a hot topic like anything that, you know, I don't think this is obviously going to fix any kind of problems or this is just the final solution. But I do think in some small aspect that like this is a small step in the right direction because at least it's something. But like, you know, I still agree that anybody who harms a fucking child should receive the death penalty. But so the Alabama governor, she signed a bill that require people convicted of certain sexual offenses to undergo chemical castration as a condition of their parole. A requirement meant to keep perpetrators from committing similar crimes. Oh boy. So the law will apply to people who commit sex offenses after September 1st. It says anyone ordered of a sex offense involving a child under the age of 13, okay, to start receiving testosterone inhibiting medication a month before they're released from prison. Most offenders will have to pay for it. Wait, I mean most. which will be administered by the Department of Public Health until a judge decides the medication is no longer necessary. Under the law, a judge, I'm going to keep reading, not a doctor, will tell the offender about the effects of the treatment. Offenders can choose at any time period to stop getting the treatment and return to prison and finish out the remainder of their term. Anyone who stops receiving the castration without approval will be considered guilty of a Class C felony, punishable under law by up to 10 years in prison and a fine of $15,000.
I mean, so technically it's your choice.
Yeah. Chemical castration is a misnomer as the process leaves the testes intact, can be reversed, and does not prevent a man from reproducing. It does not guarantee a man's sexual urge will be eliminated. There's no consensus on whether the process will be effective for women. Experts warn that the treatment is not a panacea and should be used with caution. And there are a few studies that attempt to determine the success rate of the treatment. So, yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
I mean, it's like I said, this is nowhere near a solution of it, but like the fact that like, yeah, like I said, Al, it's their choice and they can stop at any time period. But like, you know, again, it's like, so they're inhibiting the testosterone in your body. Your balls are still there, your dick is still there, and of course your brain is still there. So what's to stop you from hurting a child in other ways?
Meat cleaver, put their genitals on a table and just hack them off.
I mean, so this will never be solved in nowhere near our lifetimes because this is our screwed up justice system. But like, I mean, it's one step. This is going to take like, who knows, a couple hundred fucking years. But like,
extermination works.
They're never going to. I mean,
oh, you hurt a 10-year-old child? Hey, look over this side of the cliff. Why? What's there? Bullet to the back of the head fixes the problem.
So have you heard about this, guys? A Starbucks barista gets $87,000 in donations after customers' mask complaint. A woman who was not wearing a mask rapped on Facebook about the barista, who then tried to explain company policy. Her post led to an outpouring of money for the worker. So a barista in San Diego, he received more than $87,000 to fuel his dream of teaching dance after an online fundraiser was created in response to a Facebook post by a customer who was not wearing a mask complaining about him. The barista said in a Facebook video that he posted on Wednesday that all had started when he was working at the front register and asked the customer if she had a mask. "No, I don't need one," according to the video. Then she started cursing up a storm and she called people sheep before walking out. And then she came back in, asked him for his name, took a picture of him, and she would call the corporate offices. So then one of his friends apparently started up a GoFundMe page for him, and he got almost says the post got more than 110,000 likes and reactions, 130,000 comments, and 49,000 shares. So he got more than 6,500 donors through GoFundMe. And yeah, so through tips, because this guy did his job and refused to give a woman a coffee, he just made $90,000.
Okay.
Will somebody put up a GoFundMe for still playing Pathfinder, even though people are trying to take down Dungeons and Dragons? I will gladly accept the money. I don't know why, but I'm kind of greedy like that.
Good old America.
America!
Big boy. If the things that like me and Al have to deal with on a daily basis at our jobs, if I can get a GoFundMe going next week,
why not? Make a fake Facebook account and be like, "Hey, support my friend. Here's a GoFundMe."
$90,000 because he wouldn't give a woman a coffee.
Oh my God!
Jesus Christ!
I mean, you can't even be mad at him over it because He basically just did his job.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And just made more and a GoFundMe. He'll make in the next 10 years of Starbucks. Some
Are you kidding
shit.
me? On the way down here, Family Dollar has a big sign that says, "No face mask, no entry." Dude walks in without a face mask, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, come right on in." Why? Because the cashiers don't have their face masks on. Like, wait a second. Why are you saying that I'm not going to get service if I don't have a face mask, but you don't have a face mask? Yeah. It's kind of practice what you preach.
Don't you send me, Al, some weird-ass videos. Al sent me a video.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's just video game related shit.
Did you guys hear about the Chinese duck army? This shit's funny.
Oh, fuck.
What now?
Okay, so a lot of people are calling it the quackening. And then they say they've been saying unleash the quacking, but there's an army of 100,000 Chinese ducks ready to fight the locust plague.
My God.
I swear it's real.
I don't know who to put my money on.
A troop of special Chinese ducks is waiting to be deployed.
They're special, all right.
Yeah, to the neighboring Pakistan to fight a swarm of crop-eating pests that threaten regional food security. 100,000 ducks are expected to be sent to Pakistan as early as the second half of this year to combat a desert locust outbreak, according to the researcher. The ducks are biological weapons and can be more effective than pesticide. Who was in charge of the project? One duck can eat more than 200 locusts a day. And they're using the ducks as experiments to see their search and predator capabilities. But apparently holy shit, that the locust swarm, there's 400 million locusts right now that are in India, and they're trying to fly over and cross the Chinese border, and they're just tearing apart waves and waves of crops and shit, because that's what locusts do. So swarms of desert locusts have been spreading through the countries from eastern Africa to South Asia, destroying crops and pastures at a voracious pace. The pest plague, together with unseasonal rain and a scourge of low-quality seeds, has hit major crops in Pakistan's largest producing regions, weighing on their already fragile economy, so it's also migrated to India. So it's going to be crucial for China, that shares a border with Pakistan and India, to prevent the invasion. So yeah, there's
best of luck.
There's 500 million locusts right now just swarming these countries, and what's
That's definitely not going to be enough ducks. If I can do math in my head, that's only about 20 million locusts that can be eaten per day. So yeah, that's not enough.
We'll see what happens. So the army of Chinese ducks, the ducks are going to save us.
Duck flu. That'd be a great movie. These ducks just doing kung fu, getting rid of them. I'd watch it.
Are they being called the Mighty Ducks?
Yes.
Right now they're just
quack.
I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it. It was swirling around my head. Mighty Ducks.
So when Al, when you asked this a couple weeks back, and I tried to find that one article, but there's so fucking many about the whole when someone lies about their dad and get raped, or a woman lies and got his jail time. I did find one off of this is off NBC, and it's we can spend 3 hours talking about this shit, but this just one I found that was pretty messed up. That this came from a daughter. I lied and sent my dad to prison for rape. And this is from 2013. Not that the date matters, but this shit happens. So some girl named Shania Kelly says that she wants the world to know about a horrible lie she said she told 16 years ago, a lie that cost a man his freedom. I'm 24 years old. I made this mistake when I was 9. She told NBC News, but it's never too late to try and right your wrong. Tell it to your fucking dad. 1997, she falsely accused a man of raping her. That man is her father. All I think is one day the truth will set me free, said Kelly, from Greenhaven Correctional Facility in upstate New York. All I have to do is hold on. So this man has spent the past 17 years in prison with everybody thinking that he raped his 9-year-old daughter. And he didn't. And as somebody who's been to prison, well, we can just say that men who rape their children get treated a certain way. And we'll go from there. So, in October 1997, Daryl Kelly, the father, was living with his wife and their 5 children in Newburgh, New York, which is 90 miles north of New York City. Their oldest child was 2 months shy of her 9th birthday. At the time, he's a Navy veteran who owned a local electronics repair shop. He was trying to kick a drug habit to take care of his kids. But he was the daughter was at rock bottom, even turning to prostitution to feed her addiction. charade. Sorry, the father there. The girl remembers being downstairs with her father one morning before school when she had to use the bathroom. When she was done, she went upstairs, and that's when her mother asked her a question that came out of the blue. She repeatedly asked me, had my dad touched me? I was like, what do you mean, had he touched me? And she was like, did he touch you in your no-no spot? And I would say, no. She says that the more she denied any abuse, the more irate her mother became, and even threatened her with a belt. According to her, the mother said, if you don't tell me the answer that I want to hear, I'm going to beat you. To avoid a beating, this 9-year-old girl says she told her mother that her father molested her even though it wasn't true. On that morning, Newburgh police took Kelly downstairs for questioning. They found some of his answers suspicious. This where it gets good. For example, when they asked him why his semen and fingerprints were found on his daughter, he scrambled for an explanation. According to the police report, he said, my wife is doing drugs and alcohol, maybe she's setting me up. He didn't know until later that the semen or fingerprints had not been found. In fact, there was no evidence against him that she had been raped. Well, a doctor's report did conclude that there was possible sexual abuse because of some redness. Her hymen was intact even though she claimed her father had penetrated her. But with both the girl and her mom telling police the same story, it was enough for the police. So he was charged with multiple counts of rape and sodomy. He was, at this point, never been convicted of a felony, refused a plea deal that would have made him eligible for parole in 6 years. Within a year, he faced a jury. Based in his graphic testimony, it took them just hours to find the father guilty. He was sentenced to 20 to 40 years and barred from having any contact with his children. After her father's conviction, they removed her from her mother's custody, citing that the mother's drug abuse, and she was sent to live with her grandmother. It was there, 6 months after her father's conviction, that she told her grandmother that she was never raped and that the story had been born out of fear of her mother. Wow. So the grandmother took the little girl to the attorney, who videotaped it, her recantation, which she says she learned words like penis and vagina from the prosecution team, and the mechanics of sex from pornography stashed under her parents' bed. On the tape, she looks uncomfortable, mumbling short answers saying, no, I don't think so. Her mother also submitted an affidavit to court, swearing she threatened to beat the kid unless she said her father raped her. The prosecutor argued that the recantation looked coerced, and the same judge who oversaw his original trial a year earlier agreed. He refused to vacate the man's conviction. As years went by, he started studying law in prison and began the long slog of filing appeals, in which all had been denied. So, the daughter never gave up on her father. When she was 15, she convinced the court to allow her to once again have contact with him. That's when she went to visit him in prison. The first thing my dad did was he hugged me and told me that he loved me, and he doesn't blame me for anything. It was priceless to me. So, yeah. And it's a long article, but I'm trying to see if it ended. The fight will never end, he said. I will continue to fight for this. This is my reputation. This is my decree. This is the truth. It's not just for me, it's for my daughter as well. But after all this, he still didn't get released. So, pretty fucked up shit. And so the mother and the fucking little girl, which she's 9 years old, all the hold the grudge against 9-year-old, but everyone admitted that, like, we lied her ass off. Why that day wasn't he's still in fucking prison for something he didn't do.
That specific topic that nobody wants to be on the opposing side of.
And this is why, overall, this is why women get pissed off when guys like, or even so, us three guys have said now, hey, well, I'm sorry that when accusations come out, I'm going to believe first that maybe this man is innocent. Well, yeah. How could you say that? Because of articles like this, that's why. That's messed up. So this man is doing 20 years for something come on, guys.
20 to 40 years.
Not only is this article fucked up, but I mean, let's be honest. Think about all the guys who get accused of rape, and then you find out that they didn't rape anybody and a girl lied. Like, when you have to constantly see that, it makes you question every woman.
Yep. I had not too long ago, it's not a big story, but I was dating a girl that, thank God this ended, kind of briefly, but, at one point I gave this girl some money because I was, 20, 21 years old, as we were friends for a few months, but at one point she told me, she started crying and said that somebody raped her and that she was pregnant. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm still of the sound mind and body now, as I've always been, that if a woman gets raped, if she decides to get an abortion, I'm not here to tell any woman what to do with your body. If you want to get an abortion for a rape, okay. And back then I'm telling myself that, I didn't even question this because I'm like, what kind of human being would make that kind of shit up? And I wound giving this person some money, and well, later on, through different circumstances, I found out that she was lying her ass off. and like, and
Jesus Christ, Chris, you know a lot of monsters.
Yeah. And
Chris just attracts them all.
I mean, this was actually a friend of mine when I was working at Arby's. A friend of mine, one of her friends, like, hey, I got a girl who likes you, and she liked me, and we kind of hit it off, and we started hanging out, and yeah, the fact that it's like she.
I think Elliot is trying to get your attention.
Can I get the paper towels, please?
Yeah, it's like she
What
wants.
kind of mess did you make?
I spilled a little bit of
condensation.
I'm drunk.
But yeah, but she told me that she said this story and she wanted if she could borrow some money because to help pay for an abortion. I'm like, well, abortion, that's pretty horrible. And she was kind of like someone I was dating. We didn't have sex yet because we were dating for like a few weeks, and but coming to find out that it's like she just wanted some money and lied, and I'm like, what? Talking to her friends and family, and we of course at that second I ended all contact completely, and I'm like. And was just so like at that point I wasn't even pissed off in a sense, more of just like kind of like awestruck of like how could who could do something like that?
You know what makes that fucked up? Like
I wasn't even mad.
Much easier. She would have just been like, "Yo, can I borrow this money?"
Yeah.
And I would rather you ask me to borrow the money and never pay me back than to just come up with a crazy story like,
yeah,
yo, I was raped and I'm pregnant and I need this money for the like that's heavy. Like you had to.
It's like Sue. I mean, this God forbid, but just like if you said this story to me, I'm not like, well, Sue, before this, I want to see the documentation. I want to see like the pregnancy reports. I want to see your ultrasound. It's like no person would think to himself like, I need proof that you were raped and you're pregnant. Like I'm taking her word for it. Like back then I was 21 years old. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, and who would make this up? Like,
I know people who
holy
would.
shit. Well, yeah, but I mean now I'm older, so that it comes time passes where like why are you so now different and you're more cautious with people because of situations like this. And now look at the internet. I said this man. Jesus Christ, 16 years for a rape. And now I said he's labeled this monstrous piece of shit. Like, you raped your own fucking daughter. Like, I didn't. I really didn't. And like, how long has he had to tell everybody in prison and guards? And like I said, people may think this is funny all day. You haven't been in prison. And there's guys I've met where they told me, Chris, I 100%, and I looked at this different guys right dead in their fucking eyes. And I tried feeling like I have some sort of a man-to-man kind of bullshit factor where I'm like, a lot of these guys like, Chris, I don't belong. I did not do this shit. And I'm like, yo, it's like, it makes hey, like I said, for me, I never made no excuse. Hey guys, was I transporting weed? Yes, I was. Did I get paid a shitload of money? Yes, I did. I own up to that. I
was a fucking criminal, son. Yeah. What on my life, kid?
It's like, yo, there were some weeks I know Joe made $20,000, and I was proud of that shit. I'm like, yeah, why did you do it for? Well, why do you think I did it for? Money? Like, well, at least like, I owned up to it though.
Like, did you not hear the conversation where I said I made $20,000? Like,
motherfucker, that green was great.
Yeah, it's like shit. But like, but there's some guys who like, Chris, I've done 5 years. And I read cases. This one guy, because of DNA, wasn't that big back in the 80s and 90s. This guy, they proved that this woman accused him of rape. He did 15 years, and they proved that he was 100% not guilty, and they let him go. And of course, they give him like $1 million settlement. Like, I've done 15 years. You just give me $1 million. Like,
fuck
thanks.
You.
That's like one of those freaking Lifetime movies that I think I watched it with either your grandmother or your mom once. These people were being convicted of freaking sexually abusing their children, and they were put in jail. Their friends were put in jail. Their friends had 2 boys, and they were saying, the wife was saying, she's like, my in-laws are insane. They think I've done all this like insane shit with like fish hooks and like different shit to my kids, and I've never done it. And because we're friends with you, they think you do that to your children.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've never touched my sons in that way. And she winds up getting like the shit kicked out of her while in jail. And when they finally get to sit down with their sons, they're like, look, say whatever you need to say to get them to stop asking you questions, and so we can go home.
Yeah.
So the boys, not realizing it, they're asking them the freaking questions. Have your parents touched you there? They're like, yeah, they touched us there.
Shut.
Yeah, they did this. Yeah, they did that. By the time they're done interviewing the boys, the youngest one looks at the freaking prosecutor and he's like, now can we go home? We told you what you wanted to hear. Can we go home?
Exactly.
You know what's fucked up about being in that situation as a parent where you get accused of molesting your own child? It's like, even if it doesn't happen, and when your kids become old enough where they realize, like, oh, fuck, I ruined my parents' life doing this. It's like, the rest of the world doesn't catch up to the whole concept of you being innocent. Yeah. Like, everybody else is still thinking, you were the people that you went to school with.
I hate social media because I could say the fucking sky is purple tomorrow, and there'll be a bunch of morons who believe it. No proof. They can go outside and see it's blue, and they're like, oh, it's really purple because my eyes apparently have an issue. It's just sick.
Yeah. So, not sure how much you guys have looked up the whole, like, it's been kind of funny. So, everyone, I'm sure who knows, listen to this, knows about Jeffrey Epstein and everything that happened with him. And fuck, we could,
I know where you're going.
Well, we could do an episode on that, but even like Howard Stern and Stern's like, you know what, guys, I'm not one of the people that's a conspiracy theorist, and I try to believe, but even Howard's like, God damn, he's like,
Hillary had him killed.
Oh boy. Well, so the past couple of days, it's literally almost every hour in news articles popping about this. I'm just gonna read one because I can't keep up with it. But I'm sure you guys have all heard about that. So this woman that's how do you say her name? Ghislaine Maxwell.
Jizz.
Yeah. So this is Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, and she said that she's going to be naming names.
No, that's his pimp. That was the woman who got these underage girls to. She collected them to sleep with all these people. Yeah, that was his pimp.
Well,
but if she keeps threatening to name names, she's going to be the next dead person. Because there are a lot of powerful people involved with what's about to come out. And
oh, yeah.
She's about to find herself dead, choked to death.
She's going to have found herself suicided.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's been the thing. It's just like, some articles call her the pimp, some articles actually call her his girlfriend. So I mean, so right now she's set to cooperate with the FBI. And ominous news for Prince Andrew, and she could be held in prison where pedophile killed himself. The same prison.
She's so gonna fucking die if they do that. Oh, see, the world is going to burn itself to the ground when they find out all the names of these rich, famous people who went to this island, went on that Lolita Express, and were touching on underage girls. We don't have to do anything. This woman speaks, and the world is going to burn itself to the ground.
Yeah. So, this says that she will be naming names and fully cooperating with the FBI. And
she dead.
And Prince Andrew is among those that are very worried about what she might reveal. A former associate of Jeffrey Epstein has claimed.
Oh.
Her dramatic arrest on sex trafficking charges yesterday has raised hopes from Epstein's victims that prosecutors will untangle a spider web of rich and powerful associates of the pair. The socialite and daughter of late British publishing tycoon Robert Maxwell.
It's a disgrace to Robert Maxwell.
Okay, she was seized at a $1 million home in New Hampshire and later appeared in court by video link. It is unclear who she was there with, so she wasn't alone.
She was tucked away in a place called Tucked Away.
Yep.
Don't tell where she is. Don't let anybody know because she's going to end up dead.
She is now awaiting transfer to New York to face charges of procuring girls as young as 14 for Epstein to sexually abuse and could even be held in the same Manhattan jail where he died last year. Yeah. Boy.
Stupid.
I come back to this statement, right?
Boy.
I said this before. Fuck, I'm spitting all over my phone. I said this before about Cosby. I got to say this about Epstein. When you're that rich and powerful, why do you want to fuck children?
Because they can.
I mean, but it's stupid, though. There are so many women that would do whatever you want, like fulfill your every fucking sexual desire. Like, why would you... I don't know.
Well, yeah,
I'm weird.
That's why I've said before that, it does make you wonder that some people don't want to hear this, but I could debate this not from favoriting these people by any fucking means. I would never condone or support harming children as being a father myself, and not even being a father, anybody here. But it's a point that some people that, scientifically, genetically, whatever, that a lot of this stuff too, there's something seriously broken inside these people that can never be cured. Like the only thing to cure them is putting a bullet between their fucking head.
Yeah.
because whatever is wrong with these people, it's just like I said, as someone, nobody here can understand what these people, how sick they are, because they have something that our brains, I said, I can never comprehend how a man can do this to a child. I can't, but like something in their head it triggers something that I just can't fathom.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Don't put her in jail where anybody can get to her with a fake ID saying they're a security guard, because she will end up suicided like Jeffrey Epstein. Like, I want to know names. I want to know what the fuck happened, because the world is going to burn itself to the ground once we're like, oh yeah, such and such did this with this many girls, such and such did that. We've all seen some of the pictures released where Bill Clinton is there with, like, I think one of them was Fidel Castro or Bill Gates' names came up. I want to know. I'm a morbidly curious person. I want to know what really happened behind the scenes.
So this is saying that, okay. If convicted on all counts, Maxwell faces 35 years behind bars at a maximum. It would mean she'd be 93 by the time she'd be released. The latest twist in the case has ramped up the pressure on Andrew to testify about his relationship with Epstein and Maxwell, but sources close to the Duke say that they are bewildered because he has repeatedly offered to help. So,
yeah, but have you seen his testimony where he's like, I don't know this girl. Oh, wait, yes, I know this girl because I met her at a party, but nothing happened. I was like, wait, dude, you said you don't know her, but now you know her, but nothing happened. How can I believe you when I've already caught you in one lie?
Yeah. So according to her, she's going to be working with the feds, and
nope, that one sentence spelled her death sentence right there. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, we're gonna find her hung
it's
or
like
something.
like Alice said, there hasn't been a single comment in the past 3 days I haven't read.
Yeah,
on any social media platform, everyone's like, boy.
oh, she dead.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm gonna talk. You're fucking dead, bitch. You're fucking dead.
Yep.
But please say those names first. Please tell me where all those tapes are. I want to know. Before you die, do something halfway decent with your life, you sick fuck. Let us know which other sick fucks are out there so we can burn them to the ground. Mm-hmm. Burn their fucking estates with them in it, because these rich and powerful people need to know you're not untouchable. We will find you. Yeah. We will catch you.
They have been for so long. That's why.
Oh, but
the Clintons are definitely involved, and they need to fucking burn.
Oh, yeah. Especially with Hillary in one interview, like, me and your father really have a good sex life. Bitch, you're lying. He got a blowjob from someone else in the Oval Office. Obviously, you're not giving that man what he needs.
Bill Clinton has been fucking other women for years. You see how many sexual allegations are against him? How many women tried to fucking get him arrested for fucking a sexual assault?
A couple of them have been found dead. A couple of them have been found dead, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like, hey, Hillary, what have you really been up to? What have you really been up to? Tell me your secrets, Hillary. I'm all ears. You want someone to listen that your husband's a scumbag? Talk to me, Hillary. What really did you feel? More
celebrity kind of fun stuff that me and Sue recently watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Leo and Brad Pitt. An excellent movie. I told Al to check it out. But I didn't know this, which is just funny, which we talk about. Is we said less podcast where that woman was 16, and we kept showing the pictures to Al. Al's like, you can't sit and tell me that girl's 16, but like,
she's not. Actually, 16.
Oh yeah, with that fucking
16,
scumbag.
fucking 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
But like, it's kind of funny how often this happens. So Leo, Leo's a good actor. Like the guy, I think he's great, and this isn't a knock against him. But Leo right now he's 45 years old, and he just celebrated his girlfriend's birthday. And
how old is she?
Just go ahead, throw a ballpark. How old do you think Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend is?
17.
23 years old.
23.
And he's 45.
At least she's over drinking age.
Fucking R. Kelly, before R. Kelly got arrested and went to jail, his girlfriend was 20 years old.
I'm on a piss.
Really?
Yeah, she was a 20-year-old. I was like, these.
Then again, he married Aleah when she was 14, and he was 21.
Really?
Yo, R. Kelly was a monster his entire fucking life. Yo, did you watch the Lifetime show with all the girls?
I've heard about that because it sounded so bad. I was scared to watch it because I heard about everyone talked about that shit.
I'll say this: not only was R. Kelly supposed to be put in jail like fucking 3 decades ago, all the parents of those girls should also be in a jail cell. Because a lot of these
they allowed it.
Yeah, they used to bring their daughters to this guy because he was He was fucking famous and successful, and they just wanted to be a part of that inner circle. So they basically pimped out their fucking child. Like, I'm like, this,
that's the problem.
This is crazy.
See, everybody says that there's some, like, rape culture in the world. No, I believe there's a rape culture in fucking Hollywood. When we're finding out more and more that these people are scumbags. Whoopi Goldberg knew this dude. I forget his name. He was a director who was sodomizing a 14-year-old. And Whoopi Goldberg was like, at least it wasn't rape. Like, go fuck yourself. You also had that Danzig dude in blackface saying the N-word left and right. Well, I don't take you seriously. I loved her in Sister Act. Don't get me wrong. I fucking loved her in Sister Act. It broke my heart when I found out she was just another piece of shit. Like, I love Bill Cosby. I love him to fucking death. That was like my father growing up. Found out he's a piece of shit. Broke my heart too. Like, Whoopi Goldberg and Bill Cosby? Fuck, I'm a bastard child.
As I keep trying so eloquently to say, at least Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend is,
drinking age.
Somewhat an adult.
No, I mean, I'm looking at her. Obviously, she's beautiful. She's 23, but even for me, like, it's
23.
I mean, you have certain standards you uphold yourself to when you're not going to, like, date a girl that is...
I mean, I'm 38. Honestly, a 23-year-old, would I fuck a 23-year-old? Yes, definitely.
Legal.
Would I date one? I don't think
Here's
I would.
The thing.
I'm not going to
Would
lie.
a 23-year-old fuck you?
Yeah.
If she was drunk enough?
Fucking poetry reading that. Oh, how...
You would be her favorite best gay friend, Chris.
Oh, how the sun doth make your hair glow, faggot. Me in the background.
That's the thing.
Then again, Leonardo DiCaprio did play Romeo.
You can't knock the guy, but just the point that...
Quit fucking saying mean shit about Leonardo DiCaprio. That man is a saint.
He died in Titanic.
Well, Sue,
Rose is a bitch. She should have moved over.
She should have, but that didn't happen.
Well, Sue, the problem is you're too old for him, so...
I know.
Yeah.
But...
You won't let him draw your picture?
But... I never said I would date Leonardo DiCaprio.
Mm-hmm.
Tis true.
I just said I'd fuck him.
My God,
Good point.
Sue.
I'm not sure if he'd fuck you. It's like you're kind of old, It's...
Yeah.
And I'm also kind of not a size 2. But that's beside the point.
There's nothing wrong with not being a size 2. I'm just going to throw that out there.
For Leo, there is.
Yeah, because he can't handle a real woman.
I'd break him.
Jesus Christ.
I'd laugh the whole time, too.
Another kind of thing which I found gross yet funny.
But he'd love every second of it.
Okay, so did you know Dennis Quaid just got married?
Who?
Dennis Quaid.
Isn't he 1,000,000 years old right now?
Dennis Quaid. He's been like so many fucking movies.
I'm really.
He used to be married to what's her face, the blonde fucking chick.
Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan, yeah.
No, but Dennis Quaid.
They had like fucking 37 children or something. Like how many kids
he's
they have?
Been around for a long time. Like he's just been in so many movies. But like,
I know him.
But he's 66 years old. And he just, hell with that. It's Corona season. I want to go out on a whim and just do a spontaneous kind of marriage and elope. And he married his girlfriend, who is Laura Savoy, and she's 27. Okay.
I mean, if you're gonna marry a girl old enough to be your daughter, or young enough to be your daughter,
or your granddaughter,
that's it.
Wait, he wasn't really in that many. So he was in Legion. I know him at least in that.
I know that.
He's been around.
Yeah, he's been around. He's not that big now, but it's just a point that it really just doesn't come up. He told People Magazine of the age difference. Because he's 40 years older than her. There's just something timeless about us. We're partners in our relationship and in life. They had quietly eloped on June 2nd at a Santa Barbara seaside resort. The actor told the publication it was just love at first sight for him. Well, if you look at her, I can't say I blame him, but
it was something at first sight.
It says, when we're both Christians and right from the start, God has always had a hand in a relationship. I think that's where the real strength comes from.
Yeah, is he sure it's not the Viagra he took?
I apologize. She wasn't 20. She was 19.
Jesus Christ.
Either way, she's still legal.
Yeah, I mean, she is, but that kind of...
She's smoking fucking hot. I'll say that for her.
This is 49-year-old R. Kelly with a 19-year-old girl.
Wait,
Well, that's
can
what
we
he
see a
likes.
picture of her?
Oh,
That's what he likes. R. Kelly's into fucking children.
Yeah. I'm gonna piss on you. Drip, drip, drip. Gonna pee on you. I'm
no,
gonna
I was
fart
right.
on
Quaid,
you.
Quaid was previously married to PJ Souls, Meg Ryan, and Kimberly Buffington, and praised his new wife. This is his fourth marriage. So,
best of luck.
I just.
I mean, they say the fourth one is the one that you live the rest of your life with.
That's what they
just-
say after number 1.
I mean, I just.
I mean, for Elizabeth Taylor, it took up to 8, 9, 20
Is
men.
that Steven Tyler's daughter, or am I wrong?
Elizabeth Taylor?
I don't know.
Probably older than Steven Tyler.
I'm
Yeah.
really, really
Liv
drunk right
Tyler.
now. She's a terrible actress, by the way.
No, she's hot.
No,
Yeah.
she's really
I
not.
like her.
She has her father's mouth.
Like, that's a big mouth.
See,
Listen, I'm gonna be
Those are
honest
some
with
big
you.
I don't have to find.
I've not ever seen her in a movie where I didn't think she was hot. Like she was in
Lord of the
she was
Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
She was in fucking that
Armageddon.
movie.
Armageddon. She was in
Armageddon.
Ben
She was
Affleck,
in that movie with Ben Affleck where she was the fucking.
And Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's been in a few
Armageddon.
movies.
She's been in how many of her father's music videos
Yeah.
playing a prostitute?
She was in that music video with Alicia Tyler. What was that fucking?
Oh,
Alicia
yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Alicia Silverstone.
Crazy.
They
Crazy.
were in 3 of his freaking music
Yeah.
videos
Crazy.
together.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
That was the one.
I fucking
Like,
love Aerosmith.
I've not ever seen her somewhere where I didn't think she was hot. Like she's always been hot to me. Like when has she not been hot? Like she's never been not hot.
Not put a ring on her finger hot, but maybe a one night of, hey, I've had a couple of drinks, let's go at it hot.
She's more along the lines of I want to date you for a while, kind of hot.
They used to joke
Couple of
because he
months.
put her in so many of his music videos and she'd always play like a slut.
Yeah.
They'd make the statement. They're like, he'd probably be sitting at the dinner table with his daughter saying, now you're going to be a slut in my music video or no dessert for you.
But, I mean, look at, Aerosmith has a long and amazing career.
Oh, yeah.
I think to begin with, I saw him in Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band as the ultimate villains. Fucking blew my mind.
Who doesn't know Wayne's World where,
A lot
God.
of terrible millennials, that's who.
well, obviously, but still, those of us who are old enough to remember Wayne's
We're all
World.
old.
I remember them before Wayne's World. Before Bohemian Rhapsody.
So I'm not sure like how much you guys have watched Divergent or at least Baby Driver because I watched Baby Driver recently.
I watched Baby Driver.
Neither.
I watched with Junior. Junior's like, this is a good fucking movie. I said, I told you, Baby Driver. There's them car scenes, and even like Kevin Spacey. I don't care. I still like Kevin Spacey as an actor. Like he was so good in Baby Driver.
That pisses me off. This dude, 30 years later, when his career is ruined, just like, yeah, when I was 14, I went to a party that I wasn't supposed to be to and was molested. I'm like, where's the proof? I'm like, I loved you in Rent, dude, but like 30 years later, when your career has literally hit rock bottom, you're saying that you were molested. Press X to fucking doubt. Like
That's
you
why
just want to, want that
that's
fame
why
again.
I still put Dave Chappelle in my top 5 comedians of all time. When Chappelle's like, you know what, guy? He said Kevin Spacey. He's like, you couldn't wait until the final season of House of Cards came out.
Right?
It's like,
Never watched House of
Listen,
Cards.
I'm
but-
telling you,
holy shit.
I was so fucking angry when
Yeah.
that shit broke and they were like, we're taking him out of House of Cards.
I didn't even watch the final
I
season.
was so fucking mad.
I
I
heard-
was like, this. I was like, House of Cards was what it was because of him.
It was.
Like no bullshit.
But why does it take decades? Why are you going to say
that's what Ella asked
decades later?
30 years later. It's,
You know, I'm not saying
That's the thing that
I
makes it hard.
approve.
That's the thing that makes it hard. Like I'm like, if something fucking crazy happened to you,
You're-
and you
you're-
come out right here and now and
Yeah.
say this guy did this, it's a lot easier for me to be like, yeah, she was definitely going through something.
Yeah.
Like even if, like whatever, let the process play itself out. Let's find out if you're lying or you're not lying, whatever the case is. But when you wait 30 years, dude, it's so hard for me to be like, yeah, I can rock with you.
Exactly. Especially
this is
when no
crazy.
one remembers who you are. And then next thing you know, you said, oh, this very high profile celebrity touched me and did inappropriate things. And next thing you know, you're in all of these TV shows. Yeah, I don't fucking believe you.
yeah.
You should have said it when it happened, not wait a decade, 2, 3 decades later, because guess what? A lot of doubt has sat there. Like,
Yeah.
and people can say, "Oh well, you know, they had nobody to support them. You know what? A lot of people don't have anybody to support what really happened to them. But if you're going to wait 30 years... How many normal girls
go through that, though, where it really happens to them, and their entire family is looking at them saying, well, you were just a whore. What the hell do you expect?
Exactly. And because of all of this bullshit, we don't believe the ones it really happens. Exactly. I can't tell you who it really happened to because it happens so often. Oh, I was a celebrity. Now everyone forgot about me. I was raped. Like that Dickinson chick. Like everybody has had a Janice Dickinson. Everybody has had a turn at her.
Her dad even had a turn
father,
at
her cousins, her uncles, and everyone.
She took it and she liked
I'm like, God damn, chick. Everybody stood in that line at the deli and took a number. Now serving 36. Oh, I guess it's my turn to just fuck her raw. Now 37. You know, this hurts people who actually are manipulated and hurt and silenced. Shut the fuck up because you want your 5 minutes of fame. You're not that special.
Yeah. Well, I will mention Baby Driver because, so the main character who played Baby, and we've seen this, his name is Ansel Elgort. So he's going through accusations of apparently sexually assaulting a 17-year-old girl. Now,
what the fuck?
This was talked about on different podcasts that, technically speaking, 17, and at least in New York State, 17 is considered the age of consent. So the whole statutory thing is out the window. But, so some woman, she's tweeting that, let's see, that the actor sexually assaulted her days after she turned 17. He was in his 20s at the time, she said. The actor wrote an Instagram post Saturday night that the description of the events is simply not what happened, and that he was distressed to see the social media posts about him. I have never and would never assault anyone, he wrote. What is true is that in New York in 2014, I was 20 years old. Gabby and I had a brief legal and entirely consensual relationship. Unfortunately, I did not handle the breakup well. I stopped responding to her, which is immature and cruel to do to somebody. I know this apology does not absolve my behavior when I disappeared. So some people would say, you know, you ghosted her, or you kind of like stopped talking to her, which happens, you know. But off the bat, if you're 20 and she's 17, it's not like, you know, this kid's fucking a 9-year-old or something. She's 17, you're 20. It sounds like you had a bad breakup and now you want to be a cunt about it. And again, oh, he raped me. He broke up and he raped me.
How many was...
So now you want to ruin his career because you're a...
Yeah. She wants money and 15 minutes
So he said that, I look back at my attitude, I am disgusted and ashamed of the way I acted. I am sorry. I know I must continue to reflect, learn, and work up and grow empathy. But the Twitter user, whose name is Gabby, has made her account private, of course, since the allegations.
What you say? I can't hear you.
What is she hiding? Yep. No, 5 years ago, I was a different person than who I am. 5 years before that, I was different than when I was 30. 5 years before that, I was different. You know, when I was 18, I was young, full of cum and testosterone, and I thought I was fucking Superman. I thought I could bust through a fucking wall, nothing could ever hurt me. I was wrong, because at 22, I messed up my shoulder, and my life has been ruined since because I've had issues with one shoulder. After that, I never thought anything could go wrong. I broke my leg, and since then, one of my legs is worse than my other one. So, you know, when different ages, we think different things. But people need to stop. It's terrible that some people, and why is it not average Joes? Why is it more and more famous people who are worth more than most of us will ever see in our life combined?
Well, she's saying that she reached out to him through a direct message, and he replied to her, and she says they began communicating. The user said Elgort sexually assaulted her. She wrote that she was sobbing in pain during the experience. I didn't want to do it. The only words came out of my mouth were, "We need to break you in." She also alleges that he tried to solicit naked pictures of her and asked to have a threesome with her underage friend. What? And I sat there for months wondering what I did wrong, she wrote. Years later, I still have PTSD. I panic attacks. I go to therapy. So this happened about 7 years ago, and we'll see if it holds traction. I mean, right now he hasn't been fired from nothing, but it's just amazing how this random person on fucking Twitter or Instagram, just one person, allegedly accuses you of stuff that, like, okay, where's your proof and evidence? Like,
where's the hardcore evidence here?
You say you have the messages. Where's the proof?
Where's the beef?
Last one I have, since there's so fucking many of them, but I sent this to Big Al, but all four of us here have watched Comedy Central. I've watched every single roast. I love Comedy Central's roast. I laughed my ass off, but we've all seen Jeff Ross. Jeff Ross hosts every single roast, and he's a comedian, but he's had to not deny allegations that he has a sexual relationship with an underage girl 20 years ago. Again, 20 years ago. So, I have never engaged in any sexual relationship with a minor, he wrote. The woman, who's, of course, a Facebook username, said she was in a relationship with Ross in 1999. Okay. She was 15 and he was 33. He also included rape and child pornography, and that he was taking pictures of her with a Polaroid camera. Then she made the allegations in 2006 in a college essay, in a recent video in 2019. So, okay.
I'm going to get it right up in this microphone and ask, where's the proof?
So, Jeffrey Ross came out and said this story is old news. It has been investigated numerous times and thoroughly reviewed and never published. The witnesses and evidence do not support these despicable allegations. He wrote that the woman has a documented history of drug abuse and that she and her husband have been harassing me for years. He adds that he hopes the woman gets help for her mental health issues. And he goes on to say that he intends to take legal action based on these untrue allegations because no one, no matter how sick they are, should be allowed to continue to try and benefit from false stories while attempting to destroy others. He ends by saying, although this accusation is false, I want there to be no doubt of my commitment to victims of sexual assault. So now these, again, good for Jeff coming back and saying, like, look, she's done this shit before. And her and her husband, sounds like somebody's trying to get a fucking payday. But like now he's coming back, so you know what then? You've accused me of this stuff several times. You got no proof. Now, you know what? I'm going to come back and sue you now. Because, like, so.
Al, you look like you're ready to just tear someone's asshole asunder.
Nah, that's shit like that is just.
It seems like it's happening every day, honestly. So,
it just seems. I don't even want to get involved in it. I'll rant about it for the next fucking 2 hours.
I'm going to make myself a little vulnerable. When I was younger, I wanted to be a cop because I think I may have said this in a previous one. I wanted to be a cop because I actually wanted to help people, stop these bad guys, quote unquote, because people can't see my fingers. And as I got older, I realized who are the real bad guys because it became so unclear to me. A lot of people said, oh, this is the bad guy for such a reason, and we find out that that's not the case.
Yeah.
This is the bad guy for this reason, and we find out it's not the case. A lot of the times the bad guys are the bad guys, but then there are innocent people who get dragged into this absolute hell that I feel bad for. I don't feel bad for a lot of people, so I'm just drunk enough to admit I feel bad for them. And what about them? Nobody's coming to white knight them. Nobody's coming to their defense. And when people do, everyone's just like, oh, you're a fucking liar. Someone must. Enough is enough. Because one day, men are not going to hold doors open for women. Men are not going to buy dinner for women. Men are not going to invite women to their houses. Why? Because we're going to be afraid that some chick is going to say after consensual sex, rape. Rape, rapity, rape. And you know what? To a man, that's his whole life. Everything he built up for. We may not be the smartest shit that walks this earth. We may not be the best. We work hard. Some of us work insanely hard to make sure our families and friends are taken care of.
Yeah.
That we're taken care of. That everybody we love is taken care of. And you can't just fucking come out of the woodwork 20, 30, 15, 10, how many ever years later and say, we did terrible things. Where's the fucking proof? The world needs to shut the fuck up just because you want a white knight because you're a loser sitting in a basement staring at your phone. Not everyone does terrible things. It's so easy for you because you want to get laid because you're a fucking loser that you can't get a woman, that you agree with them. Most men are not terrible. There is a very small percent of men who are terrible. Guess what? I found more women who are terrible than men. Who will lie, who will say a man beat her, took advantage of her, and that's not the truth. She chose to stay with a man who was just a terrible piece of shit because she was afraid to be alone or needed somebody. You know, we try our best. There's a lot of men who women look over because we seem soft or stupid or something. We're not. We do what we can to make sure our families and friends and ourselves and our children are taken care of.
Well, I think looking forward, it's like, you know, I'm glad that, you know, I have everybody in this room, and whether it's Jen or Junior was here or family and friends, that like, it makes you wonder. I'm 38. Like, what would just, you know, now with social media, what if like, hey, Chris, remember like, you know, Shannon or something, or like, you know, Jessica from when you're 21 or 23, hey, what's up? And you raped me. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Remember when 23 we did and you raped me? The fuck I did? Oh no, I'm gonna put on Facebook, and it's like, so. But I think a lot of these people, the thing is, you need to start having a support system where it's like, you know, support people. Everyone in your life needs to seriously all band together and come to your defense. At least with Johnny Depp, they've done that. Like Sue talked about that. At least with Johnny Depp, every one of his exes, and he's had friends and actors and directors. Everyone's like, this woman's full of shit. So
I'd fight that shit.
And so it's like, no, whether it's Al or it's especially like juniors. If someone's like, hey, Chris, remember this one girl June dated 10 years ago? Oh, well, you know, he raped me, and I'm like, the fuck he did. Like, so, because this is getting crazy. You know, these women's like, you know, this happened 20 years ago, and like, okay, like.
I'd fight it for Al. I'd fight it for Junior. I'd fight it for you. I'd fight it for Sue. I'd fight it for Jen. Even though with those two, the people would just laugh.
Trust me when I tell you that if a woman ever accused me of rape, she'd have to prove it. Because I'm not the type to just be like, oh no, I didn't rape her, she's lying. I am going to fucking apply every source of legal pressure that I can. If she calls me a rapist and she can't prove her words, I'm going to make sure she does jail time.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
So, I know we don't, a lot of us follow NASCAR, but how did you guys, and Sue, you know, did you hear about the whole, like, the Bubba Wallace thing and then the rope and shit?
Oh!
I think you told me about it the last time I was there.
I laughed at that shit.
It came down to, like, you know, I looked at it, it definitely looks like a noose, but, like, who knows, it was a prank or something, but the FBI did investigate. They said NASCAR, it's not a hate crime, it's whatever, but, like, you know, Bubba Wallace, he's the only, currently right now in NASCAR, the only black driver in NASCAR, and they said that they found a noose that was hung up in his garage after he pulled out. So
I'm not saying I'm an expert. I did security work where some people did. If it had to do with a pull down door, create a noose. That way you could either grab it or put your foot in it after a certain height and just slam it down. It's not racist. You would have to prove that somebody deliberately was like, hey, here's a noose because fuck you, I want you hung from a tree. Okay, it's a natural thing. I've seen drivers do it. I've seen people whose businesses drivers come through do it. It's not racist. It helps.
A lot of people have called him like the Jussie Smollett of NASCAR.
Yeah.
So
Juicy Smooth.
I'm not sure what it is, but he did go on CNN, different news stories. He said, well, I can't confirm this was targeted towards me, but like he's like, this was not a rope that was used for towing cars. This was a noose, you know, purposely put in his driving area. So
that's a lie because there are pictures of that same rope tied the same way since 2019. So he's a liar.
I did read this article that I remember I'm not sure if you watched it, Sue, because it was kind of the stop motion animation, but remember that movie Chicken Run that came out a few years back, that Pixar, and Mel Gibson was starring in it.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, but it was apparently like they're one of their highest grossing movies of all time for stop motion animation. But apparently, so Netflix is coming out with a sequel for Chicken Run, and they're not bringing Mel Gibson back to voice the main chicken because of more remarks. For reasons. But I guess Winona Ryder has talked about this. She talked about this before in Variety magazine like a while back, but she's doubling down on it. So she's saying that, let's see, Winona Ryder accuses Mel Gibson of making anti-Semitic and homophobic remarks. And I did hear this years ago on Stern that, like, you know, I did hear the audio where Mel Mel got drunk as all hell, and the cops pulled him over, and he got into this whole rant with his ex-wife, and he left her voicemails, and he's like, I hope you get raped by a pack of fucking niggers, and you horrible bitch, and you piece of shit and stuff. And like, some people are like, well, Mel was drunk, and I'm like, again, I've been drunk plenty of times. I've never called any of my exes and started saying shit like that. It's like, all right, Mel. So, oh boy.
Oh man, Mel.
So Winona recounted a disturbing run with Mel Gibson, in which she's told this story several times over the years. But she says that we were at a crowded party with one of my good friends. Mel Gibson was smoking a cigar, and we're all talking, and he said to my friend who's gay, oh, wait, am I going to catch AIDS? And then he came over, and then something came up about Jews, and then he said to her, you're not an oven dodger, are you? Because apparently he didn't know that Winona Ryder is Jewish. So, but, so stuff like that, where it's like, they're not asking him to come back and voice for Chicken Run Part 2. So,
damn it, Mel.
Yeah. Okay, see, a spokesman, of course, he said he tried to apologize to her, but his most famous anti-Semitic outburst took place in 2006 when a police report, he said that the Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world during a DUI arrest. Yeah. He said that, of course, he said that in 2016, this was unfortunate, that he was loaded and angry and arrested. I was recorded illegally by an unscrupulous police officer who was never prosecuted. But, okay. I mean, whether you record it illegally or not, I mean, still, you still said all this shit. It says, Gibson's prejudice had been publicly exposed several times. In 2010, the audio recordings of Gibson screaming at his ex-girlfriend, during which he used racist slurs, including the N-word. They ratted Gibson an A-list actor through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So, but yeah. So good old friggin' Mel's saying he hates gay people and blacks and Jewish people, and like, no, his father too. His father's one of the Holocaust deniers. I heard the interviews where his dad was saying, the Holocaust never could have happened. It wouldn't have made sense. Like, how could that many people have been killed? Like, okay. Damn, all you liars.
Oh, man.
So, see, I talked about this with Al last time. We didn't record it, though, so I'm sure you guys, Susan and Ellie, have heard about the whole... I love when Al said smartly, which I agree with 100%, that we're so lucky that this didn't go 10 different ways it could have went. But I know Sue and Elliot had to hear about... You guys seen about the couple in St. Louis, right?
Remind me which one?
Okay. Basically, and me and Al talked about this, but there was a couple in St. Louis that they pulled out their guns, and they're pointing their guns at a bunch of protesters.
Was that the pregnant woman?
She wasn't a woman. Basically, it's like, this does make you wonder sometimes, too, with the media. Like I said, here's a clip right here, too. There's a 30-second clip of showing the husband and wife on their estate, and they're pointing the guns at people, making it look like they're the aggressors. But then another video shows the entire thing, where it's like, no, this was technically a gated community, and it was public property, and signs saying public property, no trespassing. The gate and the lock to this estate was broken down. Now, this definitely is a legal issue where it's like what's considered private property in a gated community. Now, these protesters want to say that, we were peaceful and we're harming nobody, but you did, on camera, break down an entire gate and a lock to a private community. So
I want to buy that couple a drink. They broke into a gated community, which meant private property, and those people had a right to defend their home. Nobody was shot. They just stood outside their home with guns to let them know that if they tried to, they were going to end up regretting their choice. I want to buy them a drink.
The only thing that scares me, and Al can speak on this, but like, I often do wonder in this country, in any state, whether you're a gun owner or not a gun owner, that you have the legal right to buy a weapon, but it seems like anytime you exercise that right to even brandish a weapon, you get in trouble for it. And it's like, well, what's the point of me able to buy something, but then if someone breaks into this house and I shoot them, I get in trouble. Yeah. It's like, then why?
This is the thing. The laws are weird from place to place. Yeah. In that particular situation, I don't agree with the couple for this reason. They weren't in danger. They weren't under threat. Nobody was even headed their way. They came outside. If anybody in that protest was armed, they would have made that situation way worse than it had to be. They were wrong for breaking that lockdown and entering the gated community. But that was in response to the mayor, whose house they were headed to, posting their private information, their names, addresses and all that stuff online. They were headed to her house to stage a protest. I'm not saying they were right, but I understand the feeling of protesting when an injustice has been done. Just like how everybody is saying these people were right for coming out with guns to defend their property, then why are the protesters wrong for defending their right to privacy when this woman put their private information out there, right? If one is okay, then the other by default is okay. So I'm not agreeing with the fact that they broke on a private property or the fact that they broke the gate down to get in, but clearly, if you're defending your property or you're defending your home or your family, you are justified to do so. When you come outside to antagonize a bad situation, you're only making matters worse. Yeah. You're not. They weren't. If these people were headed to their house or headed across their lawn or headed into their house or damaging their property or they were in danger, by all means, come out with your guns, shoot a few people, protect yourself. I would agree. But when you just come outside with a gun just because you want to make a name for yourself, just because you want to tell your friends, I stood up to Black Lives Matter protesters, I came out with my guns, and you antagonize the situation for no reason other than wanting publicity. Like, it's crazy. Like, I stand firmly in the belief that any citizen that's brandishing a weapon that is protecting their home and their family is in the right. I don't care what's going on. Like, I don't care what the situation is. If you're in your home and you are defending your home and your family from intruders or people that are damaging your shit or people that are threatening your life or the life of your family, you are in the right, 100%. I will not make any arguments against it. And if I'm on the jury and you're on trial for protecting your home and your family, I'm not signing off when you go into jail. But on the flip side of that, when you're not in danger, when you're not under threat, when nobody's even paying attention to you, but you come outside of your house, outside of the safety of your house, to brandish weapons at people that aren't even paying attention to you, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different argument.
Yeah.
Because that couple weren't in danger. They weren't threatened. The people weren't doing anything to their house. Everybody was walking by their house on their way to the mayor's house, and these guys came outside brandishing guns. What was the point?
I mean, I did see this too. Everyone wanted to say, well, why were all these protesters out in this community for? And it's what stemmed from that.
It stemmed from the mayor publishing their information. And they were on their way to her house to protest.
They wanted her resignation because she was releasing the names and addresses of residents who suggested defunding the police department. So, and I do kind of agree. It's like if anybody in social media says, like, hey, I want to defund the police or not, whatever, as the mayor, you constantly putting on social media everybody's private information. That's kind of messed up.
And that's a mayor. That's not a private citizen doing it to other private citizens. That is a mayor. That is an elected official putting the lives of people in danger because you want to gain political points. I don't know why she did it. I have no idea what was the fucking thought process behind it. But that in itself is dangerous, especially when you know the climate currently in the country right now. That's dangerous. So they fucking gathered together and decided to go protest. And this couple came out of their house for no reason. Like, they weren't in danger. And if you are in danger, why would you get out of your house? Like, if you feel like your life is being threatened, why would you come outside to the danger? Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Because the police in that state were told to not react.
Well, this says
they weren't in danger. They clearly they're armed. They have weapons in the house.
Oh,
so if they were in danger, they would be in the right to protect themselves.
The mayor
they didn't do anything because they weren't in danger. They just wanted to go out there and make some kind of weird point. This is saying
that St. Louis police said the couple had called police for help once they saw the large crowd enter the place. They had been at home and heard a loud commotion coming from the street. They went to investigate and saw a large group of people break an iron gate and marked with no trespassing and private street signs. The group began yelling obscenities and threats to harm both victims, police said. When the victims observed multiple subjects who were armed, then they armed themselves. See, I'm not sure that is because the videos don't show. All the videos show that they already had the guns in their hands. Whether they went back in their house and got there or not, no one knows.
Because the videos don't show the whole thing. Like the white woman who pulled a gun out on the mother and the two kids. It doesn't show the whole video of the mother and the kids surrounding the woman. They try to leave. The mother gets behind the vehicle to stop them, and they still get in the woman's face and threaten to beat their asses. It doesn't show the whole thing. If you want to arm yourself, okay. If you start shooting people for no reason, I got a problem.
Yeah. The crowd of protesters eventually moved on and carried to the mayor's house.
Mayor sucks anyways.
Says police are continuing to investigate, but are labeling it as a case of trespassing and 4th-degree assault by intimidation. Meanwhile, the couple, as they stood on their own property within their rights to point weapons at protesters, gun rights advocates say yes. A police spokesperson said that you need to ask the courts. So, a constitutional law professor at St. Louis University said that although it's very dangerous to engage protesters with guns, the homeowners broke no laws by brandishing or pointing their weapons at them because Portland Place is a private street. He said that the couple are protected by Missouri's Castle Doctrine, which allows people to use deadly force to defend private property. At any point that you enter the property, they can then, in Missouri, use deadly force to get you off the lawn. Walker said calling the state's Castle Doctrine a force field that defines you and can even pull the trigger in Missouri. Luckily, no one got shot. But there's no right to protest on those streets, Walker said. The protesters thought they had a right to protest, but it is, as a technical matter, they were not allowed to be there. It's essentially a private estate. If anyone's violating the law, it was the protesters.
And like I said before, the protesters were dead wrong for kicking that gate down. They were dead wrong for being there. But the only thing that couple did by coming out with armed weapons is antagonize the situation. Because I'll put it to you like this. I'm armed. I'm part of a protest. I look up and I see a couple bearing down on me with guns. What's to stop me from opening fire to defend myself? What's to stop me from having the thought that this person wants to kill me? Like, especially when I'm not headed that way, I'm not doing anything. I just look up and see this person coming down with guns. What's to stop me from saying my life is in danger and opening fire?
Being on private property and going through a gate that was broken open.
Being on private property does not automatically negate your right to life. Like, I can't justify murdering any person that walks on private property just because they're on private property.
I do.
If that's the case, then legally you could say I could shoot every person that walks on my property, even if they're a police officer, even if they're a judge, even if no matter who they are, I could open fire because they're.
If it's private property, I believe you have a right to defend yourself if you feel threatened.
It depends on the state you're in. It depends on the state you're in.
It does depend. But I believe no matter who, if you feel threatened, you have a right to defend yourself, no matter if it's an average Joe or if it's a cop, depending on the state you're in, because different rules.
Even if I'm on private property, because just because I'm on private property doesn't mean I don't belong there. Like, what if I walk into a gated community, but I know somebody there, and I'm headed to somebody's house, and this couple decides to come outside because they don't know me, and they bear down on me with guns? Am I now wrong because I'm on private property, even though I was invited?
If you were invited, then I would like, okay, this is the person who invited me, and let them deal with it.
Yeah, but what if I don't want to give up my personal information? What if I don't feel obligated to tell you what I'm doing here or who I am or whatever the case is?
That's on you then.
So
they were wrong, but I believe that the couple had a right to defend themselves, considering all the terrible things that Black Lives Matter and Antifa combined have done to towns and cities across the nation. Yes, get guns, because I don't trust either of them.
So by that justification, I could say, listen, I'm going to arm myself and kill any white person I see because I've watched all the stuff that KKK and what the cops have done to black people.
If they're on your property, yes, and you feel threatened, yes, go right ahead. But depending on the line,
the logic, the line that you're drawing is an insane line.
If it's private property, yes, defend yourself no matter who it is if you feel threatened.
So I'll ask you once again, if Chris lives on private property in a gated community, and I'm on my way to Chris's house, you also live there, you feel like you should have the right to kill me because Chris invited me over to his house on private property.
Nope, you just let him know that, hey, I'm not
going to let him know. I'm not going to let anybody know.
That's where difficulties happen, though, because these people were not peaceful because they broke into a...
Oh, I'm not even talking about them. I already conceded that they were wrong for doing what they did.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying that it was fine.
If I'm on private property, am I obligated to explain myself to a perfect fucking stranger because I'm on my way somewhere and they don't know who I am and they bear down on me with guns?
I would. It keeps me safe because...
It's not going to keep you safe because what's going to happen is if I'm armed and you're armed one of us is dead.
I wouldn't be armed because I'm not silly like that.
Well, that's the situation.
But I'm saying that's where it'll lead. That's eventually, inevitably, where it would lead.
But these
because people would try to use the justification of, well, I'm on private property and I have this right, and you're fine to assume that right. You do have that right, but everybody that's on private property isn't going to be there unlawfully. The protesters were dead wrong. They should have never kicked that gate down. They didn't belong there.
And
they were 100% wrong.
None of them were shot because they were dead wrong, and they forced these people's hands.
But they didn't, because these people weren't in danger. They were inside their home.
Anybody who's watched the news, they were definitely in danger by Antifa and Black Lives Matter.
They weren't in danger.
They were.
The reason you believe Antifa and Black Lives Matter are dangerous is because you buy into a lot of conservative propaganda. Because
because I've seen them burning down stores and shooting kids.
You haven't seen them burning down stores and shooting kids. Have you personally seen them doing it? No.
I don't want to. I've seen them marching down my street, beating each other up in the middle of the street because someone said, "Hey, you're black. Go see your black friend." And a black man got offended because he said the word black in the middle of a Black Lives Matter protest, which showed me that I don't want to know any of these people, because if they're that crazy to attack their friends.
That reasoning is? If everybody thought like you, do you understand the conflict that would be happening in this country right now? Do you understand that this country has a history of white supremacists
and we
structures in place? Do you understand the violence that have been done? Do you understand that there are like massive groups of people in this country that if their thought process was similar to the thought process you have right now, how crazy our situation would be currently? Like,
it can't be worse than what it is right now with people shooting each other in the middle of the streets without cops answering calls.
It totally can.
There's faults on both sides of the pole. And I don't fit in either groups because I'm part black and I'm part white, and both sides hate me.
No, you
and I don't
think
care.
You don't fit into either groups, but you've chosen a side.
Yeah, my own side, because both sides are wrong.
You haven't chosen your side. You've chosen a side.
Both sides are wrong. Both sides are very wrong. More people have been killed in the past month without cops intervening, and people still blame cops. I think terrible people are terrible people, and we can't fix terrible people. I'm not God. I can't say, later on, you might do a terrible crime. You need to die. No. Everybody's life matters to some person. I can't agree with it or disagree because the only people who really matter to me are a very small group of people. If someone hurt Sue, you, Jen, Junior, or Chris, I'm going to lose my shit because I know you guys.
So you think that Black Lives Matter and Antifa are bad because of what you've seen on TV?
Yes.
But you negate the fact of the reports of cops that have said, I want to go hunt these people, these N-words, because... I can't wait till we've given the word so we could go clear them out. Like all these different articles that are coming out, all the videos of shit that cops are doing, driving cars through protesters, like the people that have just been hurt nonstop.
They're terrible people as well.
And also, on top of that, let's talk about the white supremacist structure, the rowdy boys, the neo-Nazis, the skinheads, all these people that have decided that we want to be the arm of Trump on the street. Their words, not mine. They said this, not me. They want to be the arm of Trump on the streets. And they have systematically been out. They have been in every riot, in every protest, stirring up the pot. Starting fights.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's not as cut and dry as arrest them all. Because those guys that have that belief, they're supported by police. There are videos of police officers walking over to groups of men and telling them, I need you guys to clear the street because when we start clearing these guys out, we don't want you in the mix.
I did see that.
That's happened. That police so it's not as cut as dry as saying Antifa and Black Lives Matter is bad. What's happening is people have taken extreme stances.
Yeah.
And those extreme stances only make matters worse.
Yes, but I've also seen live footage of people who have gotten their houses broken into and stabbed who refused to let cops know who broke into the house and stabbed them because it could mean further retaliation. Everybody is guilty. People need to stop this because it's not doing anything but spreading further hate. Future people are going to look at this and
You're saying spreading hate, but the problem isn't spreading the hate. The hate already exists. The hate has existed people are reacting to the hate.
Yeah.
You're saying that Antifa is bad. Antifa is an organization that was created exclusively to fight against the KKK, to fight against anti-fascist. Antifa stands for anti-fascist. That's what it stands for.
Which use fascist
the people who they fight against racist organizations. The people who have a problem with them and call them criminals are in defense of racist organizations. Every time name a time you've seen Antifa anywhere doing something that wasn't directly in response to a racist rally being held somewhere.
Easy. Whenever Antifa holds an actual rally where anyone who says they don't agree with them, they beat them to a bloody pulp. There was a reporter who was Asian who was left bloody because they hit him in the head with a milkshake that contained quick cement in it, who just said, stop the violence.
And you find that offensive and you think Antifa is bad.
No, it shows that Antifa are violent.
You don't find offensive the whole slew of neo-Nazis that decided that we're going to beat the shit out of Asian Americans because Donald Trump has said that this Kung flu started in China.
I've actually never said I don't agree with that. I think all of this stuff is stupid.
But what I'm saying is, I hear the venom in your voice towards Antifa. Well, I hear no venom in your voice towards the racist people that are doing just as much violence, if not more.
I'm pretty sure that I've said I hate everybody who is doing this stupid stuff.
Yeah, but
regardless of if you're white, black, yellow, orange, purple, green, or red. This is all stupid because violence begets violence, hate demands hate, and by acting this way, it's only going to further spread hate, which it really is.
Here's the thing, and this is I say this to you because you make a good point. The thing is, when black people form an organization and say that all we want is to be equal to you, and everybody says, no, fuck that, we don't want it, you're asking for too much. And then they react in the only way that's been left of them, because if they peacefully kneel, they get called sons of bitches. If they protest online and sign petitions, they get called, snowflakes and all types of names. And everything they do, they're told, we can't do this. This is unacceptable. So the last resort inevitably becomes violent protest. It is the last resort. And now everybody's upset at that as well. The point isn't for people to not be upset, because it is upsetting. The point is, if you close down every other... Let me ask you. I'll ask you this, and I want a genuine answer. If I can't march in the street to protest, if I can't riot to protest, if I can't peacefully protest online, if I can't peacefully assemble in public, if I can't protest in any way, what am I supposed to do to get my voice heard?
People who peacefully protest do peacefully protest. When these people start doing violence, burning down buildings,
don't give me that's a cop out, because you're lumping the rioters in with the protesters, and they're not the same group. But the protesters go out to protest, the rioters show up because they're opportunists, they're fucking vultures.
Yeah,
and nobody wants to be associated with them, but everybody wants to lump them together. What I'm asking you is, and I want a real answer, I don't want some watered down. If I'm told that I can't peacefully take a knee, I can't peacefully assemble, I can't protest online with a petition, I can't march in the streets, and I can't riot, what do I do to get my voice heard?
Unfortunately, I've never seen where someone says you can't peacefully do anything.
Oh, I just watched June 1st, 2020. I watched the President of the United States use military force against American citizens that were peacefully assembled in D.C. to clear them from the streets so he could take a photo with a Bible in front of a church. That happened recently.
Sure.
When I can't stand up and peacefully protest, when I can't take a knee quietly, when I can't march, when I can't violently protest, when I can't protest online, what do I do to get my voice heard? Because everybody's complaining about all the ways that the protests are being had, but nobody's listening to what the protest is about. All people are saying is, stop fucking shooting us in the street. I don't want to hear the argument of black on black crimes, because there's white on white crimes, there's Asian on Asian crimes, there's native on native crimes, there's Middle East on Middle East crimes. Black on black crimes is not a thing. It's something where people that live in the neighborhood commit crimes in proximity to where they live. That means if you're in a black neighborhood and you're black crimes are going to be committed against you. If you're in an all white neighborhood, the crimes that will be committed are going to be committed by white people. If you're in an all Hispanic neighborhood, crimes that are going to be committed are going to be committed by his parents. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you need people to listen to you, but nobody wants to listen? Everything that Black Lives Matter has tried to do, they always try to change the narrative and say, oh, well, look at the protests. Oh, well, look at this. Oh, well, look at that. Why is nobody fucking listening to the message? If we can't get people to listen to the message when the message is plain and simple, stop doing this bullshit. Just stop fucking killing us in the streets. Pass sensible legislations that stop cops from having the ability to murder unarmed people in the streets for no fucking reason other than I'm scared and getting away with it.
Yeah.
And when people are asking constantly to have this done, but nobody's listening, Colin Kaepernick took a knee. They called him a son of a bitch. Get these son of a bitches off the field. We can't protest peace. We can't kneel. We can't pray. We can't form a petition. We can't march. We can't protest. We can't riot. What is left for people to do? I need an answer on that. How are people supposed to get their voices heard when everybody is constantly trying to change the narrative and ignoring what the fucking thing is about?
Everybody was for what happened to George Floyd, though. Everybody was saying, fuck those cops. They deserve to spend the rest of their life rotting in hell. Nobody disagreed with that. I didn't see anybody, and if they did, they were fucking idiots.
The problem was it wasn't just George Floyd. It was George Floyd. It was Ahmaud Arbery. It was Breonna Taylor. It was a long line of people that you get to see over and over again. And I explain this to people in a way that I need you to grasp the understanding. If you were in the military and you went to war and you had to watch your friends around you die, you come back with PTSD, people understand you. When you get to constantly watch people that look like you murdered in the streets, and the justification is, I thought he had a weapon. I thought I was in danger. He looks different, so I'm scared. If that's the justification for killing, when I could watch somebody like Dylan Roof walk into a church and kill 9 people and then have the police officers take him to get breakfast at Burger King, I feel like that's a clear sign that things are warped in this country.
Yeah.
Things are in a weird way. And I'm not like, people aren't asking for special treatment. We don't want to be above the law. We don't want to be treated differently. We just want to be equal. I want the same rules that apply to me to apply to you. If you could get pulled over by a cop and have a decent exchange, you could talk to the cop. He doesn't feel like he needs to bear down on you with a gun. Like, how many times has a fucking perfect traffic stop turned into a death sentence for why is it like most of the time cops pull up on a black guy and black guys fear for their lives? White men don't have this problem. You've never been pulled over by a cop where you were genuinely in fear for your life.
Yes, I was.
Maybe. I won't doubt you.
I was pulled out of the car, had to sit on the back seat of a car with a man with his hand on a gun for over half an hour because the driver and the person in the passenger seat had drug paraphernalia on them, and I was the darkest man in the car. I had a man watching every action I did, and what I did was, excuse me, sir, my legs and my back hurt. Can I please sit on the ground because I don't want to slip and I don't want anything bad to happen. And he said, oh shit, yeah, I didn't understand how long this was happening, and that happened. I was pulled over when I was 18 years old at Crossgates because in the dark I look a lot darker, and a man said, I'm looking for someone who's 5'10", dark skin, and just robbed the Target store. And I'm like, well, I'm over 6 feet tall, here's my ID. He went away for 5 minutes, and I thought, man, this is fucking terrible because the other guy has his hand on his gun looking at me like I just pissed in his wife's cereal. Yes, I've
So now you understand that you could get profiled for looking a certain way. You understand that.
Yeah, but I'm not white and I'm not black. That's the problem.
But
I'm
you're not
right in the
white.
middle.
You're not white. You don't look white.
I don't take offense to it.
No, I'm not trying to be offensive. What I'm saying is you understand that you get profiled, not for having done anything wrong, not for them having a justifiable reason to feel like you're a threat, but just because you look different.
People are absolutely flawed in all forms and degrees, and I get that. I don't take offense to any of it, even though I had a gun pulled on me right to my forehead, and I laugh because that man now works as a plumber because he was a fucking moron who pulled his gun on an unarmed man.
Well, you know what's scary out with the whole situation is that the problem with the fucking protests and rioting, and I've seen this a lot, people say like, well, this one riot happened. I'm like, yeah, no doubt one riot happened. What you guys tend to ignore, and I blame this on the fucking media, is for that one riot, there were 300 peaceful protests. But
here's the thing, that people ignore the peaceful protests because they don't want to acknowledge what the protest is about. A lot of times they just want to change the narrative. They don't want to say these guys are protesting because there is real injustice happening in the country, because to say that means that you have to look internally in the country. Yeah. These guys want to say, oh, these guys are protesting.
But I do admit, it's like, even like in Albany, okay, like, no doubt, we had 2 days of rioting, which I'm not excusing this or saying it's bad, but like, since then, what's happened? It's like, since then, we've had, in the city, like, so we've had like 100, 200 peaceful protests, no problem in Albany. We had one riot. You can't look at one riot compared to 200 peaceful. It doesn't make sense. But the media acts like that one riot is 200. And
I don't trust anybody I don't know anymore because I don't trust people, period. Lots of terrible things have happened through my life with white, black, Asian, Hispanic people. I don't trust anybody.
And I'm glad you say that.
I trust my friends because they've earned my respect.
The only point that I would ever make to anybody, anywhere listening, and I mean, Martin Luther King Jr. said it the fucking best. People should be judged by the contents of their character. That's the main problem that's happening in the country right now is that if you're a black man, like people tell me that black people should do better. I've heard this before. I want somebody to explain to me what it is that I'm supposed to do better. I've not fucking broken the law. I've not ever been arrested. I've not ever gotten to any altercations with the fucking cops. I'm not running out around here making children, not taking care of them. I'm not living off the system. I earn everything I fucking make, like everything I have in my life I've earned. And I'm yet still being told that I'm supposed to somehow do better so that cops don't want to kill me. Like it's on me now. And I don't get it because I know people that have criminal records of violent crimes, that have attempted murder, and that have actually have assaults where people have been stabbed or shot but not died. These people have criminal records of violent crimes and have no fear of interaction with the cops because their skin is different than mine.
Al, I believe you're just as good as Chris. I believe you're just as good as Sue.
Oh, I believe
Jen,
it too.
And all that.
I have the audacity of believing that I'm equal
I'm
to
saying,
everybody.
I believe you're a very good person. Though we've only interacted during these podcasts, you are a genuinely good person. And I wouldn't say that to blow smoke up your ass. I think you are a good person. You are a very good fatherly figure to us all because you've seen more shit than any of us can comprehend. We all had terrible shit happen to us, and it sucks. Everything needs to be reformed. Everybody does have to be seen in the same light regardless of anything. To me, you, Sue, Chris, Jen, Junior, my brother, Chris's mom, who I've met, her husband, whose name I don't think I've ever heard, his sister, Kai, who looked like she was going to choke slam the fuck out of me because I was just like, hi. You're all
She just doesn't like human contact. Though,
You're
so it's
all,
like her boyfriend who she can abuse.
You're all good people to me, and I've been stabbed in the back. I've had to make graves for children from women who literally done really fucked up stuff. I've almost gone to jail for people who said fucked up stuff that are lies. Yeah. You are all very good people to me. I will have all of your backs till the day I die. Well, the rest of the world can... it all has its problem. Nothing will ever be perfect, and I agree. Everybody needs to shut the fuck up and say, you're a man, you're a woman, you're still as good as a man, you're a man, you're as good as a woman. You can all do the same shit except for certain things that biology dictates. Terrible people need to go away for every terrible thing they have done. That has no basis on gender or skin color.
I say so.
If it's any consolation, I dislike you all equally. Except for Jen.
I like you, Sue. Just because you're a fucking mystery to me, and I just want to unravel you.
I'm still gonna come upstairs and cuddle the shit out of you.
Fuck off! Both of you!
All you want.
Hey, I just said I want to unravel your mystery. That's nothing sexual. It's just intriguing.
But it's all still. I'll let Alan and Elliot go on.
Elliot,
make their fuck.
I love you.
I'll let you guys make your point. No, I looked at it too, but that whole situation with the fucking everybody was in the fucking wrong. Everyone, simple as that. It's like, but I still feel like like Al said, yes, they were in the fucking wrong for breaking in there, but also they were in the wrong for pulling out their guns because in all reality, okay, well they felt threatened. By who? It's not like these people were breaking into their house and like barring down the windows and raping their kids or nothing. Like they overreacted just as said they were just as much in the wrong as the people breaking into the house were in the wrong because it's like they weren't breaking into their house. Yes, it was a gated community, but like that's a problem too with these whole gun laws, is especially in Texas. Well, I have the right to kill you if you step on my lawn. Well, no offense, if I put 1 foot on your grass, you don't have the right to blow my fucking brains out neither, dude. And Texas is, I read this shit constantly. Well, in Texas, we have different gun laws, and I'm like, so you're just kind of a bunch of gun-toting assholes, too, because you shouldn't be taking human life for, if I broke open a lock, okay, it's wrong, yes, but like, I don't deserve to be shot and killed for that neither. Like, calm down.
There are people who take those things to the extreme. There are guys out there who are drooling, waiting, hoping that somebody makes the mistake. Like, you imagine if you accidentally ended up on somebody's property without knowing. Imagine for a second your car broke down somewhere and you're like, fuck man, let me go to this barn here and ask if I could use a phone or ask for help. And just for being naive enough to believe that your fellow American might help you out, you deserve to die. You're naive. This is the place where we're at, where Americans tell you that, oh, I'm a patriot, but I hate other Americans. I love this flag because it represents the country I stand for, but I hate my countrymen. That's true. It doesn't make any sense. It's the stupidest it's the stupidest thing in the world.
We've had that point where I don't care, like, at this point, what neighborhood I'm in. I don't care, because some people would say, oh, well, if I'm in a white neighborhood, I don't care what neighborhood. If I'm driving my car and I break down, I don't care if your guys are all white, all black, all Asian, all Hispanic. I don't trust any of you fuckers.
And that's another thing that bothers me. Like, the fact that we're in America in 2020 and we still have all black, all white, all Hispanic, like areas that exist to this day. Like, that's weird to me. Yeah. Like, at this point, we should be so integrated.
This area isn't all black because...
Well, no.
No, well, not this area, but there are areas.
Arbor Hill.
As being a driver, no, I drove to plenty of areas that were either all black or all white. That's just how it is. But my point is, if the bus breaks down, if I'm in an all white neighborhood or an all black neighborhood, I'm scared of the way because I don't trust none of you fuckers.
I will say I blame the news and I wish people could sue them.
And I definitely said,
and I hate the mayors and governors as well.
But that was my point in this whole article, and that's why I said we looked at this and shows to Al and Elliot, where it's like, this is the media pulling their bullshit, where it's like, the first article I read was like, white couple points guns at protesters.
Yeah.
So, some people
they had to really
the first article I read was white in capital letters. Then the second article I watched is, okay, here's 30 seconds of these peaceful protesters and these angry people pointing guns at them for no reason. Oh, shit. Then I see the third article. No, hold up a second, because the first two articles conveniently left out the fact that these people broke into a property that they weren't supposed to break into. It's amazing how the first two articles didn't talk about that at all. Then the third article shows, no, this is what actually happened. Now, they weren't in the right, but they did break into a private property. So, but like I said, this was a perfect storm of, like, thank God, though.
Oh, shit.
Thank God nothing went wrong.
Exactly. That's
really
my
bad.
Because, like Al said, it had these couple, what if their guns, for argument's sake, just went off by accident and they killed one person? They shot a protester. One of two things happens. Either the protesters disband, everyone runs for their lives, or reportedly this was 500 people marching to the mayor's office. What would those two people do against 500 people when they all jumped on them?
Yeah, that would be 45 rounds at best.
I'll say this, the thing that makes it particularly dangerous is, like, if their gun went off and hit somebody, like, I'm going to tell you right now, Chris, if me and you go somewhere and I'm strapped and somebody shoots you, I'm firing back. Like, this person is, like, he's either going to have to kill us both, or like, it's not going to be as simple as, oh, this person popped off a shot and, it's dangerous. No. It's a situation that doesn't have to.
That's said, and I listen. No, I do agree with Elliot. Like, you're right. The fact that these people, and this is the argument I made to Al, and the point I made to Al, is that this is the point where we're at to how much fear is controlling people, because these people, technically speaking, their lives weren't in danger, but because they could have, like, checked out a blog or Facebook article or Twitter, or, like, they keep seeing all these rioters. That's the thing.
If you pay attention to conservative media, and I'm not saying the liberal media is any better, because it's not, but if you pay attention to conservative media, they paint the whole concept of the protest is ungodly. Black Lives Matter should be disbanded. They're a terror group according to fucking conservative media. Antifa is the fucking Antichrist, the second coming. These protesters are fucking destroying the nation. The reality of it is, this protest is reactionary. It is people reacting to a systemic situation that's been happening. It didn't come out of nowhere.
I can't trust news word. This is what, 3 weeks ago I read that they don't consider. Okay, they don't talk about Antifa and Black Lives Matter. You guys literally said that in news articles that the Ku Klux Klan isn't a terrorist group.
They have registered Black Lives Matter as a terrorist group, but will not register the KKK. That has existed for its entire time, from its inception back in God knows when.
I read that, and I'm
they have done nothing but existed to separate the blacks from the whites and to bring violence and chaos against black people. That's their only, and to this day, they're not registered as a, like, it's insane. Yeah.
That's the whole point that I said. Al and Elliot just had a very long discussion, but they're both right. And it's a good thing that we all got our system. And that's said that the whole scary situation was like, that's what I fear going forward. It's like that situation, thank God, got resolved and no one got hurt or harmed.
Exactly.
But what happens next time?
You might not have people who are controlled like they were.
The problem is going to be that the next time protesters gather, people are going to arm themselves. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. Because they're going to always say, well, the last time we did this, these guys fucking pulled guns.
We're seeing this. We're running low on time, but like you just see in the article where it's like now there's more and more cars. Like this one guy driving a car just killed 2 women. You hear about that?
I've been watching a few things online where they showed all the people that got ran over during protests, where people are literally speeding their cars up and driving into crowds of people because I don't even know why you would want to. How would you justify it in your head?
This individual, there was actually a police barricade. He went through a police barricade and ran over 2 women, and one's dead now. One's having critical condition. Now,
catch that asshole.
Well, they have caught him.
Good.
It's like, but
throw the fucking.
And this becomes, and this is the problem now with our country and social media. It doesn't come down to man kills woman. It comes down to, well, this driver was black and these women were white, and it's like, first off, I don't care what color the driver was or what color the women were.
But here's the thing. As long as you're in a vehicle and you understand that a vehicle is a powerful pile of machinery, and you run into people with the intent to hurt, you deserve to be fucking buried under the jail.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Nobody could justify it to me because, like I said, I was in that exact same situation, and I understand the urge and the panic, but at the end of the day, I made the decision not to hurt people. Like, it's easy to say, I'm not going to try to kill these people. Yeah. Like, you're in a car. Like, a car could easily become a weapon. Yeah, easily.
Which it does. But what's scary part, Al, but at least in your part, like, had you done that, I probably would have justified you. This guy, there was police barricades blocking the roads. You went through police barricades. You went through and you purposely ran into people that were in the street, like, because they were quote unquote protesting. And I was reading comments, some people were saying you couldn't have went another way to get home. You had to go through, the police were setting up barricades all around the highway, and you purposely still ran through the barricade and ran 2 women over. And you killed a woman. Like,
that's disgusting.
Damn, man. But again, it doesn't come down to, in every article, it's like, it doesn't come down to, people dead. It comes down to black driver killed white women. I'm like, what does it matter? But
it to sensible people,
it matters because that's what sells fucking news. Like, if you want if you want ratings and you want to sell, then you're going to make it sensational. You're going to fucking...
No, the media always is going to publish dirty laundry.
Exactly. And the media is what the media is trying.
That's why Don Henley made the song "Dirty Laundry."
Fuck the media.
Like Al said, I don't care if, like you said, you're a lib or conserv or dem or a pub. All of them are trying to find different ways to constantly take these news stories and constantly
fucking spin it.
Yeah, and like, and that's why it's like, before I comment anything now, whether I'm on Facebook or Twitter, before I type a single word out on my phone, I make sure I don't read one article. I read 5 articles, because it's amazing how I read 5 different articles on the same incident and I get 5 different fucking stories about what actually happened. Mm-hmm. And people love to comment on headlines. They see headlines. They don't actually read the article. Mm-hmm. And
that's what it is. People don't get past the first couple of sentences. It's a very I don't know the correct word, but the title means to just grab your attention. Like,
they're judging a book by its cover.
plowed through a group of black people and murdered such and such an amount. And then you read through it and it's like, oh no, well, he took the wrong turn and protesters just happened to be in his way and he couldn't slow down. It's like, you lying son of a bitch. Well, but they're protected by law, and I wish we could sue people, because I'd sue CNN, MSNBC, ABC, and a fucking ton of them. I would
can't trust
sue
the news
them.
anymore.
Stupid.
I just said this, and I said this even yesterday, like, hey guys, I'm not advocating anybody get hurt at all. I'm just saying that right now, if you have to be somewhat socially aware and check your phones, your statuses, or local news, if you're going to go out right now and protest, and that's your right, and go ahead for it. If you're going to do that, though, understand there are going to become risks and factors. If you want to have 500 people on the middle of 787 at 2 o'clock in the morning,
you dead.
There may come a chance where it's like, it's one thing protesting down a city street or your neighborhood block. A lot of these things are happening when you're in the middle of public roadways, which I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that, like, this keeps happening more and more and more and more. So it's like, hey, if you want to take 50 of your friends and walk down the middle of Central Avenue and keep blocking off traffic, nope, okay, you can. But there might be that one asshole who's like, screw you guys, and he's going to go 60 miles an hour and plow through you, and it's happening almost on a daily basis. And all these incidents are happening, and people that are at the middle of the street. It's like, you have the right to peaceful protest, but like, you got to stop blocking traffic and expecting, like, hey, I'm blocking traffic, everyone's going to stop for me. No, they're not. They're not stopping for you. You're not.
Well, here's the thing: as a pedestrian, they're supposed to stop for you.
I know, but that's my point. But they're not. It's that's why I've even said too. Right now, crossing the street, anytime my kid, I don't care unless the light is red and both cars are stopped on the side of the road. How many people see a green light and you start walking down the street? Oh, I got a green light. They're going to stop for me. And I've seen people just either run, almost kill a person, or run a person over. Well, I can walk in the middle of the street and I'm all safe and sound. If the light's green, some people, they're not going to stop for you. They're going to keep
this
fucking
is very
going.
True. I see it nearly every day.
So I said, the more I keep reading about these protesters getting ran over, I do feel bad for them. But I'm like, guys, just know you're putting yourself at risk.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. Like the situation. If you take 400 friends and you walk onto private property and you break down gates and locks, you may run the risk of pissing off some homeowners who got guns. That's going to happen.
Keep yourself safe.
Here's the thing that's going to make it bad. Is that there are people out there that's not going to care. Like if anybody that belongs to me, like anybody that's mine, fucking gets hurt by some jackass that wants to plow into a crowd of people, I promise you I'm going to fuck him up. If somebody that belongs to me fucking gets hurt on private property because this person feels like, oh, this is my property, I have a right to defend myself, and even though I'm not in any danger whatsoever, and these guys aren't directly in front of my house, but I'm going to go outside and confront them, and fires and kills somebody that belongs to me, I'm going to kill that person. This is not hyperbole. I'm not joking. I will fucking ruin the life of anybody that feels like your right to own a gun or protect property or to drive on a road trumps the right of anybody that belongs to me to be alive. I will make sure that if I can't get to you to physically hurt you, I will ruin your fucking life. That's just what it is. I'm not saying that people are like, I'm not even defending the protesters that kicked that gate down. And I'm not saying that the people that are blocking traffic are doing the smart thing. What I'm saying is their life shouldn't come to an end just because somebody wants to prove a point. Oh, I'm going to plow into this crowd of people because they're in the streets and I got something to prove. I'm going to come out in my front yard with a gun because these guys are here and they got something to prove. Prove something then. Prove it, because I'll prove something as well. That's the way I feel about that.
This is a touchy subject, but it's, we had a friend that this guy just didn't care. He just ran her over and killed her. Yep. Because he didn't give a shit. He just seen a woman, and she wasn't she was walking across the street.
Yep.
And he just hit her because he
kept going.
Because he could. It's like this is something we
nobody
can get to
got his number or anything. Got the plate, license plate.
Said they eventually did catch it. It took them 4 months to catch him.
Something like that. Yeah. A little bit longer.
Did they hit him with the book? Like,
oh no, of course not.
No, he got 2 to 6.
Huh. And he killed a friend of ours, which said our friend, it's so to this day a touchy subject because this was a wonderful human being and it could have been any one of us here. She's literally just crossing the street and just smacked her, kept going. And
think how fucked up that is that he did that without any regards, just kept going.
And
wonderful fucking human being.
And like Sue said, like they were out there at the court hearings and I've been arrested and detained. You have a statement to make, and he goes, "Are you sorry?" He goes, "I guess so." And you killed the
about time you pick up the book and literally just fucking throw it at him.
Well, we all called him her husband. Yeah. He sat there, he looked at the guy, and he's like, you know what? Doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter anything at this point. He's like, but you know what? One thing I am going to say, I forgive you. Because he's like, because you still...
It's a strong man. It takes a strong man to forgive.
Better than I can ever hope to be.
I respect it 100% because you don't understand how strong you have to be to get over something and he's never going to get over it.
Because he said to him flat out, he's like, you still have your life to live. She doesn't.
And it could have been avoided. And the fucked part, he wasn't even intoxicated, they said.
No, but he had a suspended license, he was in a stolen car, and he was going 60 in a 30.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Hit him with a ball.
But I got more time than he did for having marijuana in my trunk than he got for killing a person.
We definitely need to rethink this justice system, but of course people are flawed, so it's always going to be flawed.
That's the point, guys. Listen, I just say it's...
And he was a prior felon.
It's definitely cliche, but besides COVID, stay safe, and these protests... So I pray if you want to protest, I'm not going to do it because honestly, I told my kid this. When I come home, when I get off work, I do one thing. I come right home. Before work, I may stop in Walmart. I may stop at the park real quick and do a small jog. I come home. I don't leave this fucking house anymore. I really don't. I don't even want to go to the corner store anymore.
Same.
And it's like
only time I leave the house is if I'm with your mother.
If you want to protest in a group in a full of 1,000 people, you're right. I'm just saying, be careful, guys, because this is happening all the fucking time.
I don't trust anybody anymore. Like I said,
or I'm with another.
You guys,
Al showed me this one.
I trust you.
Al showed me not too long. Remember that one video? Showed me this. This guy had a tractor trailer, ran over 10 people or some shit. A tractor, how powerful a tractor trailer is. This guy just ran 10 people over. He just plowed right through him.
The shit that bothered me about that is that guy, he blew the horn. Yeah. And then fucking proceeded to drive, even though he saw people in front of him. He did this shit on purpose with intent to hurt people. And I'm not saying that people are right for blocking a path, but when you, on purpose, make the decision that I'm gonna run over this person because I have a point to prove.
Right now, we definitely don't value human life the way we used to.
Nope.
No, not at all. Because the news literally makes it out to be that every person killed is ratings and money for them. That's why I say CNN especially, fuck you, especially Chris Cuomo, a.k.a. Fredo. Fuck you, and fuck your murderous brother, you piece of shit. And Don Lemon... Stop rubbing your cock and balls and rubbing it on people's faces, you sick son of a bitch.
That's Elliot's goodbye. See you for
fuck you all.
Anything else to say, Sue?
Junior, wherever the fuck you are, come up from here and get out of that girl's cheeks already and just come back to the podcast.
Fart box.
If he comes over Saturday, me and Alice, you have an obligation to tear him apart because he hasn't told me shit about this girl if she actually exists.
Oh, she exists. I guarantee
she
doesn't exist. She's a blow-up doll.
Her fart box smells like roses. He can't get his tongue out of it.
That must taste real good.
If he has the intent of bringing her down here, oh boy.
Oh, gonna wreck her.
Go ahead, bring her down, dude.
Bring her down, please.
Just out of curiosity, if I should happen to bring a female friend with me down here one day, how bad is it gonna get?
It's gonna get bad. Sue will leave her be for now. But if she has
if I'm gonna bring her down here, she's gonna walk out of here feeling humiliated and fucking embarrassed.
I mean, here's the beauty of it. We all do. Chris will never bring a woman down.
Yeah.
No.
Unless he tosses a coin to his witcher.
Our taxes are coming up. How much can I afford?
Talking about taxes coming up.
I mean, you can bring another female family member down here.
Yes.
True.
As long as she's hot.
Well,
Kaya, Jamie, we could invite Ashley.
I know, Al. We're trying to get Moody down here, but she keeps beating him
up and breaking up.
Mom told me the other day,
and then getting back together.
Something happened where he was outside. He told Kaya he's breaking up with her. Finally, he went outside on the front porch. He cried for 20 minutes.
Got hit with a brick.
This was after the.
No, he dunked.
Yeah. Something happened against. I can't keep. I want to get this kid down here before he break up officially. But it's hard.
I want to sing some songs from Greece to him just to really make him question his life.
You need to tell him to toss a coin to his witcher.
Yeah.
No, Alec, it's all Junior. Anybody if you want to come down here.
Junior's waiting for the kid to like send the distress call so he can go and save him.
Jen,
if anybody
send a text. We will save you.
Even Jen said she has friends. But Jen, beforehand, listen, you can't say, well, you can't explain to anybody what we're doing here. You better have them pop in episode 10 or 11 or something. Listen to us for a couple minutes because
listen to one of our good episodes.
And then bring them down.
And I'm proud because I'm sober. I only dropped like 2 F-bombs this episode. So like,
I'm drunk, so...
I'm half asleep.
Yes, you are. I'm glad I helped you. We had a very constructive hour-long conversation before this. It was beautiful.
It lasted longer than 7 minutes.
Yes. Fucking 10 times as long. And it got to the point. It's beautiful.
So I'm hungry. We get pizza.
As long as it doesn't take 3 hours to get here.
All right, Alice.
Chris, I'm not buying you pizza.
How about me?
I paid you back.
Elliot, go fuck yourself.
I do almost every night.
Never gonna happen.
It's gonna happen soon. It is we are destined for each other.
Yes.
I don't know if you understand this, Sue.
Destiny?
But this is happening.
Jen, I sent you text and I'm
this
upset
has
you're not
already
here.
happened.
I sent
All right,
Jen those beautiful
I'll say goodbyes
texts.
when we're out. I'm saying my goodbyes.
Yeah, let's you know the spiel.
We had fun tonight.
Protect your neighborhood, protect your neighbors.
Poor Sue fell asleep.
Donate to the people that matter that could help you out. Donate to the agencies that help your neighbors and make life better. You know, take care of the fire departments, schools, libraries, hospitals, police stations. Not all police are assholes. I know, even though right now they're getting a bad rap. I personally know 2 police officers, and I know those 2 are just my anecdotal experience, and it doesn't amount to much, but those 2 guys are really nice guys.
Yeah.
So they give me hope that fucking cops could be all nice guys. The ones that are in there and being assholes need to get taken out. A lot of them need to be retrained, but in general, cops don't deserve to be, ostracized and demonized.
Yeah.
So,
well said.
you know my spiel.
That was a good 3 hours, and everyone knows my spiel, and I can say it without being horribly drunk for a change. I only had 4 glasses of alcohol tonight. That's a record.
4.
I know, we calmed down after last week.
Huh?
That we did.
Because
I'm still mad that I wasn't here for the complete slurring of words.
That's why I slowed down for
it.
us.
It was brutal.
Yeah,
as
it was.
It
fuck.
was great.
I couldn't understand myself. If I can't understand myself, it's not funny because it's like when I talk like this, so Allie, fuck you again. And it's like,
I was waiting for a chair to be swung at someone.
Jen's
Like,
like,
Yeah,
Jen's like, Jen's like, I have the college degree, and I'm like, you're a fucking fat bartender. Like,
yes,
shut up.
it was beautiful
What an asshole.
and crazy.
Well, I'll show you a picture. I can show it to Sue and Elliot where this woman, she jumps on a trampoline and she flips from the trampoline. And
I saw it already.
She hits a pool. I was like, this would be Jen. No difference is Jen hit the trampoline, it would break. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Jen, you should be here instead of babysitting your dipshit boyfriend.
Oh God,
One of many.
I'm texting you right now, Jen. So
but thanks for listening. Yeah, if you want to join us, by all means. But just before you come down here, you better know what you're walking into. So, and because we're being blue collar, I've always said, guys, that love you for listening, and like nobody here wants anyone's money or needs anybody's money, and we're 20 episodes deep, and let's try to hit 50. And
20 deep.
As always, I've said this to friends. We do this
Let's
shit.
at least do 10 episodes at a time here. Let's make it to 30.
Me and Al have longevity. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
me and
See,
Al,
Jen?
we're going the distance.
I mean, Sue.
I'm hitting 50.
Well, I ain't both.
I mean,
fuck at
Chris,
this point.
judging from your sexual experiences, you don't have longevity.
See, Al's different because he's like, that's a food source. So like,
It's okay.
that's like Carlton. Carlton says, listen to the podcast. He goes, man, what's up with this whole gay shit? Like, Elliot loves Junior, and then Chris loves Al, and then like Al loves Junior back.
So
It's
I was
like,
wondering what's happening.
Carlton's like, there's so much gay shit going on. I was like, Carlton, listen, the thing with me and Al is it's like
Fucking
our
gay.
romance.
Do not be mad at me for loving my brother, all right?
Exactly. It's
Love
like
him with all my heart.
Carlton, please come down and save us all.
he wants to. I said, but Carlton's mad because
Be careful
Carlton
with
won't
Genesee,
feed me the way
Carlton.
Al feeds me. So because if I'm next to Al, I'm guaranteed to eat.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Sue isn't
wait-
going to sit in her
Wait
chair
until
right
Capital
listening to
Buffet
Carlton.
opens back up. I'm going to camp out in that bitch for 2 days straight. I'm just going to chuck $1,000 at him and be like, keep the food coming. Just keep it coming. Just cook. I need somebody to be here overnight. Just cook.
Why wouldn't I be sitting in my chair straight?
Because the shit he's going to be saying, you're going to be like, who's
Carlton?
Longhorn?
Carlton?
Question mark.
Why wouldn't you be sitting in your chair straight? Because I'm going to wreck you.
Jesus Christ.
No, I meant
Because the stuff he's gonna say is gonna make it hard to sit right. Oh, just wait and see.
Junior, you do not Junior.
Wow. Jesus. That's an insult.
Yeah.
Junior must be talking shit about me.
You see that full head of hair right there?
Yeah. Do you see this hair? Look at this. Look at this.
Okay, Elliot, you do realize I've known your brother now for a good...
Too long.
15 years?
I've known him for 35.
You know,
of course.
His brother's going bald too now, he told me.
Yeah.
Like,
well, just
Carlton.
wait. He's going to talk into the mic and Sue's going to like fucking slide in her seat like, hey, when did your seat get that wet? Oh, he talked.
Yeah. Well, Carlton's going to hear some people laughing at him. So.
Yeah. But who the fuck is Sue again? Oh, that's right.
Exactly. He won't remember who the fuck I am.
He's only 2 hours away, that long, hard drive. But, yeah, thanks for listening. And I've always said, hey, guys, just like, especially, I keep loving every time I read this shit where more people got banned on Twitch and more YouTube channels get shut down. And I'm like, boo-hoo, you pricks. Go get a fucking real job. And I feel zero sympathy for you.
Zero sympathy.
Yeah, because all four of us here, so far, we've not made a single penny off this podcast. I love hanging out with my cousin, my friends. I love drinking, laughing, talking about some real shit. But none of us.
Your sister when she comes.
None of us are doing. I'm not hanging out with you guys because I need to pay my car insurance. I have a job for that. So you want to donate to something? Donate to somebody, like Al said, somebody who matters. And there's plenty of people out there, not Starbucks baristas who didn't give a woman a cup of coffee. Give that $80,000 to a goddamn nurse or a teacher.
I'll give her extra cream.
Thanks, you guys. And if you want to protest,
Pearl.
If you want to go protest, just watch out for cars. All right? Bye.
And people with guns.